Hello and welcome to episode 52 of the Talking Wednesday podcast, the anniversary episode. If you are an audio listener, you don't know this, but I'm currently sat next to Punk Chef 41 in the flesh.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's very strange.
Sharing our COVID, clearly. But no, this is a work meeting.
Yes.
This is a work meeting. This is not a party celebration, even though we're technically allowed them now. But even if we weren't, this is not a party celebration of the Talking Wednesday podcast. This is a work meeting. Remember
discussing very important things.
Exactly.
Like defences.
Defences. And should Darren Moore be in the job? That's what we've been asked a lot. But welcome.
You've already started with the M's.
Yeah.
Without knowing.
I don't want to do the thing. Too many people bashing for
the
thing. It's clearly a speech thing. You know, it's like, we did it. We did do it.
We didn't want to, that was it.
And then we didn't know. I'll be honest, we fell privy to it, but the fact that he's doing it, clearly people have pointed it out to him, but it's just a speech thing now. So I'm trying to be a bit better about it because clearly, like, it's not just him trying to, you know, think about stuff. It's genuinely one of his speech patterns. So I'm going to try and not mock it as much. But yeah, a whole year of Talking Wednesday.
And this is the first time we've ever met each other.
And this is the first time we've ever met each other. I've met your dog.
Yep. You've met my little girl.
I've met your wife and child.
Yep.
You can tell I'm all about animals because I've just mentioned the dog first.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's always the case when you know, like, what your friend's situated. Oh, I got a lovely dog. The child was okay too, but the dog's lovely.
To be fair, your child is good as gold. There was a chance that she could have just been running around everywhere today.
Let's not start that again.
Children, but yeah,
we're not doing that joke.
No, not that joke. But she's been good as gold.
Yeah,
and
very quiet.
Yeah. Soph's also here on comms. She's not on mic, but she is. We've got a podcast set up. We've gone for it. This is how I'd run a podcast. You know, we talk it through with Jake. Can we make it happen? We could make it happen. This
took
is how
me about
I
a week.
Stuff. Yeah.
Ish.
Exactly. Because
got it done.
Because we're doing it with a lot. Well, I've brought a lot of gear over, but we're doing it mainly from a setup that you've built. And I mean, he could have painted the back wall. Look at that.
Yeah, I could have done, but hey.
I'm just saying. No, I'm completely joking. He's done an absolute cracking job in a short space of time.
I thought you might want it to look a little bit like Wednesday, rustic.
Yeah, rustic. Lovely. You know what you needed to do? You needed to put Presto on it. Yeah, just have a nice big.
What? To get a piece of corrugated metal to Presto there.
That would have been brilliant. But yeah, we're not. I'm not one for pomp and circumstance, but there's been nothing on the Dexterity Box channel that's lasted as long as Talking Wednesday. So when it got to a year, I thought, you know what?
We had to do something.
We had to, because I was never about the numbers with this. I was never about, like, we need to be the biggest, the best. I want it to be a podcast that we enjoy, we got to speak about, and we've built a community out of just us talking for 52 episodes. No guests, none of that. We were going to have guests on, then we sidelined it. Probably for year 2 of the podcast, we might look at it a little bit more, but I stuck with this. And who knows if we're going to get a full second year. You know, you don't actually know if we're actually going to carry it on fully. This is about to hit me in the pocket as well.
Because all the stuff.
All the stuff's about to hit me again for another year of it. So it's one of those where we...
I will say something. When we haven't had an episode or whatever, the response had been really good going, where's the podcast?
Yeah.
The podcast? So it had still become someone's routine.
The sad thing is, it's kind of, when we've done that, it's kind of killed the momentum of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because the YouTube algorithm's the audio listeners have still been there, so we've still got solid there. But the algorithm is just, you can see the drop off. You'll lose anywhere between like 200 to 400 viewers if you miss a week, because the algorithm's not pushing it out when you come back.
That's where I absolutely mess up in summer.
Yeah.
Because there's no games or anything, I drop off, but I always have to pray that there's like a really good Wednesday transfer window or something.
Well, when we moved the date, that was a big thing, and then we had the thing there. We're going to talk about all of that a little bit later on. We know there is some of you, a lot of you will be about, this is about the community and the chatting and talking about the podcast itself and chatting absolute crap. Yes, that is going to be the case.
The waffle.
But we're going to start it with the news bit. We don't want to date this podcast, so anybody can come back to this and skip a bit ahead. But we will start it with some news. We will go into the news as normal because we'd quite like to make sure that you guys are still getting the current Sheffield Wednesday news the time of recording.
It's also routine as well because it's how we do things.
It is, yeah. But
there's been a couple of times where I think we had one episode where we were like halfway through and we went straight into a match.
Well, we're in a transfer window as well.
Yeah.
We're in a match-based stuff. We do pre-record episodes sometimes, and this would be a great one of those to do. But I would like to talk about what's happening at Sheffield Wednesday at the minute.
We're about a transfer window. We don't have them.
Yeah,
they don't exist for us.
It is true. However, there is transfer talk, but we'll start the podcast as normal, and then we'll go into the community chat. We've got a section that where we chat to a couple of community members that have been watching the podcast for a long time. So it's great to.
Well, if we're
going to
start out like normal, how's your week been?
That's my week. Whoa, God, trying to think about weeks now is. So we're Sunday today because we're recording early.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's been work, but it's been a standard week really. But it's just been all about making sure we get this ready. I've been playing a bit of FIFA in time. I had a bit of time because I got so much prep work done, and I was like, I've got to get all of it. Because I was like, I've got to get so much done this week because I'm not getting a day off this week. I was like, I've got to do it all, and I did.
Yeah.
But it meant that in the evenings actually, because I'd crammed so much in like the first couple of days, I just got to sit back and play a bit.
So
of FIFA,
you managed to prepare yourself a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was nice to do that. What about yourself?
Getting this sorted, been literally my week, and the big one was mine. We've messaged you on Friday going, "Oh, oversight! I haven't put internet in. I'll sort that."
That was mental. That was just like, how are we gonna? Because even now, like a lot of our stuff's online with the actual documents and everything. And
I'll tell you a little story, right?
Go on.
So you sent that message. I at 7 a.m. already dug out the cable, found what I needed to do, got everything sorted. By 9 o'clock, it was already ready with internet.
Yeah, I do like the Frankenstein job you've done, trailing the lead from your house.
It's the only way I can do it.
And doing all of that and big cables. We've gone for
it. There's another 30 meters somewhere in the attic.
But yes, this is the Talking Wednesday podcast, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast, chatting about all things Sheffield Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday this week, we're back.
Yes.
After a woeful time of results against Sunderland and Shrewsbury, shipping goals, people for calling for Moore's Head. Wednesday again playing the dreaded Plymouth of, oh God, them again. We don't perform well against Plymouth.
It's deja vu.
It is deja vu.
And it's one of those things. But it's a weird one because you're thinking about all the players we got injured and who we could get back. And you're seeing the big one for this week has been the overreaction to a point of Corpenu.
Yeah. We obviously wanted to get people's thoughts on that. We both did a couple of shorts and we asked about that.
No, like, right, we both did shorts at the same time.
At the same time, yeah. And we put them out and then we got reaction from that. We talked about that a lot last week.
Yeah.
Trying to be quite level-headed on that one. We did say at the time, we've got people to play that position. Yeah. And Nathaniel Mendez-Lang was one of those people, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So Sheffield Wednesday actually played Plymouth this time. I said on last week's podcast that I am starting to worry about the manager's position.
Yes.
Because even though I don't think it's time to sack him, I did say these next few games are going to be so crucial because they're not the easiest, and there's going to be a lot of telling about where we are and about whether this manager can actually carry on because the fans are already, a lot of the fans.
Yeah.
And we talk about, I think it was coming to a stage of where it wasn't just the silent majority supporting anymore. There was quite a bit of a split. I'd say it was probably coming to more towards 50-50.
It depends which side of the Twitter first and internet you look at, because there's the people who never wanted him from the start.
Yep.
And the people who was like, we'll give him time. And then
it is funny. There is people that will slag him off at every possible opportunity when it's bad.
I think the one thing that we got from last week was that he didn't do the typical, we've had a break in it because of this. He actually turns, no, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
So you had that kind of level of responsibility from him, not from the players, knowing that they need to do better.
Yeah, and we've had interviews come out this week from Barry Bannon and that saying it as it is, saying, we should be winning this league. It's not acceptable where we are. We don't think, or none of those players in there think it's done. We still think we can get promoted, obviously, because we're not too far from the pack, but it's not good enough. And when we're in this league, we should be much higher than we are. And that could have all been a lot of words. It was nice words, but then the actual performance specifically and the result against Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday won 4-2. Talk me through the game, Jake.
So it was a strange one because we started really well and really positive, and it wasn't what I expected. But I tweeted that we could have a chance against this Plymouth team because it wasn't strong. They had key players out. They had Hardy out. Jeffcott started on the bench. That's their scoring.
Our old pal Jeffcott.
Yeah, never did it happen. That did it.
It didn't. No, carry on.
But you've got that whole kind of thing where you're looking at that team. We might be able to do something here. And our team lineup was strange because you had South starting. You had South starting. You had Mass back. You had Hutch back.
An actual good side.
Yeah,
you know?
And you had players playing in the right positions as well. And it was that strange thing, but we started really well. Great crossing for Sal to make it 1-0. Nutmegged him. And when he gets on the score sheet, whoever had him down for first goal of game made a fortune. Yeah. Because no one would have had that.
No, nobody did. Nobody made a fortune because nobody would have done it. But it's the goal 4-2 was flattering to Plymouth at that point, in my opinion, because I don't get me wrong, they've battered us. We have not turned up. But that match, especially Plymouth's second, was it, where Bailey Peacock-Farrell was really unfortunate with it. And obviously a stunning free kick on the first one. Their fans have even said they were not at it at all. You know,
like our second, it was great play from Lang.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the goal scorer. So the first Wednesday goal, go.
So it's Sal comes in, Croc comes in, nuts and Meg the keeper. Second goal.
Bit lucky, bit fortunate.
It was lucky, yeah.
So it comes in and he hits it for sort of like, and it ricochets through the keeper's
Mendes
legs.
Lang, there was no luck at all.
No, Mendes Lang was pure
superb.
Skill. The one thing I want to see with Mendes Lang is whether he keeps it, because he's all about talking about having a new kid. He's on that high, bringing the kid in, that sort of thing.
But no one said about the ball to Lang.
Yes, I know. The ball to Lang was it Lang the goal? I thought it was the ball to Windass later.
No, it was both, because there was a ball to Lang from, I think it was Luongo, who flips him in behind, and he just runs on. Yeah. And the thing is, we said last podcast, when he drops his shoulder, he's rapid. He can get past the man. He's tricky and he's strong. Well,
I'm worried about him being a confidence player. That's the one thing that I want to see. I want to see consistency on that. But he does look. It was the sort of Corbin who thing. Yeah. You know, do you need him? You know, you've got Mendes Lang coming in and doing that.
The problem with that was Corbin, you actually scored a screamer for MK.
Yeah, but it's the past. I am all about looking forward now. Even this sort of like early into this, Mendes Lang, if he can get his head down and keep doing that, that'll be cracking. Yeah. Let's talk about the so they pull
their free kick was
they pull one back through that free kick.
You couldn't stop it really.
No, we're not very good at. We need to sort our.
It's
free
another
kicks
set.
out.
Yeah, but it's another set play.
We need to sort because even free kicks though we don't position ourselves well clearly because we concede to them. You know.
Well, the annoying thing was Luongo who made the foul and he got that in him. Sometimes he tried. We saw it at Portsmouth. He was trying too hard to win the ball back.
Yeah,
and he gives those silly little free kicks away. And a team like Plymouth, at 2-1, you're like, oh, great, we're going to do what we do every game when we get a lead. And you're just waiting for it. You're waiting for it.
Yeah.
But credit to us, we just kept on at them. And we were still going for it. They didn't let the head drop, which was something that we've seen in the past.
And Sam Hutchinson with the third. Like, do you know what? I was thinking this is really quite morbid in a way, and not morbid, but like sad in a way. Like you never know what Sam, because he's obviously coming towards the latter end of his career. You never know what his last goal is going to be.
You reckon that's why he went big on the celebration?
You got it, you know, because
that celebration had my heart in my mouth. Like, come on, please don't do that. You made a glass.
You never know. You never know if it's going to be his last goal for the club. You know, because obviously we don't even know if he'll be at Wednesday, but we don't know if he's going to retire afterwards. Yeah. So.
It was a good header.
And I'm only saying that. I know he's not old Sam Hutchinson, but it's with his injury record.
His injury record, and it was a dang good bullet header. Though.
I don't know if he'd want to keep on at this level for too long getting kicked if we didn't give him another contract. You know, it's probably not good for his long-term health, but I love that. And then obviously a little bit of like, okay.
It was that whole kind of thing. When they got their second, it was such a scrappy goal, and it wasn't even like it was bad defending by Wednesday. It was just one of those in the box scraps. We do tend to concede a lot, I'll admit, but Bailey tried to keep it out. The best part about it, there, you're like, right, we got to get the next goal. If we don't get the next goal, we're on. We did our usual play it out, got it to Palmer, and I don't know where that ball came from because it was fantastic arc of the. He did. You could tell he had the man on.
But remember, Palmer's just not good enough for us.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's what all the Wednesday fans.
But
you
literally look. He looks down, he looks up, sees the run, gone, and Windass the first touch to trap it, turn his man and go, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, no.
The only thing I got with Windass, he's one of those players who obviously likes going, but he just doesn't know how to celebrate. This is like his second goal, and he doesn't know.
I think he's done it. I think he wants that to be his thing now.
Yeah,
standing.
You mean like
thing.
The Balotelli kind of thing?
Yeah, he's standing there, sort of like I am the
but
man. Which is fair. Do you know what? Windass keep scoring, you will be.
But he didn't let his head drop. The player we kept on.
Honestly, if we can keep that going, happy Wednesday fan. Shea Dunkley not getting let into the ground.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was interesting.
Do we actually know? Was it a COVID thing?
I think it was that he didn't have a COVID pass. Because that's what's going around. But
which means he's not vaxxed, is he?
I don't know.
Which means
because
people were having a pop at Windass for it, and whatever your views are on it, if you've got to think we've got to sort of like, or at least do it, because it means he also hasn't done the lateral flow because he'd have been let into the ground with a negative lateral flow. So that's just on him.
And I think he was like, I play for the club. I'll just turn up. I'll get it.
Yeah, we can't. No, there's no exception. There's no exceptions to it. You can't.
No.
That's the one thing that with the side. I'm not having a pop at him. We don't know the full details here, but it's like the big tennis thing at the minute with Djokovic. It's sort of like he broke the rules of that country, right? Yeah. He thinks he's above those people that are in that country. That's the thing for me. No matter what your views are on it, everybody else is having to adhere to that. You don't make exceptions. And if you make exceptions for people with money, that's just shit. Yeah. Well, let's be honest. That's what a lot of things happen. Like, oh, let's just work party, all that.
Yeah.
But like, you're not above people on that. I think it's an oversight. To be fair, if he's not vaccinated, that's
his personal choice.
That's his. But it's the lateral flow thing. You've got two options. Yeah. COVID pass or a lateral flow.
The thing is, a lot of people are taking it for what it is, but I think Shea Dunkley actually took it in a good humour as well. In kind of like, oh dear, I've not been let in, kind of thing.
It doesn't look good though when you've been injured a little bit and you're not like. Was it to play for Shea, or is he still injured?
He's still injured.
So he was coming to look.
He was coming to watch. Yeah. But when you look at when he turned up, he'd come late.
Yeah.
He'd come late to it, so he's already like, I'd say he was like 30 minutes late.
Yeah. No.
So they'd gone, I'm coming in.
I didn't really follow what was happening too much. So because I was thinking, no, he's still injured, isn't he? So he would have just come and watched it.
But he's a long-term injury as well, which is slightly irritating.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one because I saw both sides of each argument, and apparently some of the fans were like, he played for the club, why are you not letting him? But if they've been told they've got to do this,
but if you've just been
surely if you're going to come to the game,
do that. Yeah.
If you're going to come to the game, treat it like a match day. Come early.
That's exactly
like you're going to be playing.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Hopefully, he'll learn his lesson. He'll get in next time.
Yeah, no, just lateral. Just do what everyone else is doing, mate. It was literally on the web. You play for the club.
You probably got an email.
Yeah. So this we talked about this a little bit in summer, but
yeah, we did.
Tariq Uwakwe.
I'm glad you said it. I've been saying it completely wrong.
There's rekindled interest in him. According to the Star, quote, it is understood that Uwakwe impressed more in his technical team, but that the Blues were looking for 40% sell-on fee in order to let him go in the summer, this was. Something Wednesday weren't prepared to do at the time. Now, though, with the contract of the former Accrington Stanley loanee coming to an end in the summer, the Star is led to believe that they would let him go on a permanent basis in the January transfer window if a club is prepared to let him have a sell-on of between 15 to 20%. But it's not an easy deal to get done for Moore, with the versatile Blues man also attracting serious interest from Portsmouth, Motherwell, and other clubs in the English Football League and the Scottish Premiership, end quote. For me, those competing teams, Portsmouth, big club, obviously, Motherwell in their own rights, Wednesday should be a pull there, especially if he's already got that relationship with Moore.
If he's already been in and trained and has already had that sit down, I'm pretty sure Byers is a 20% sell-on.
Right.
Now, I have seen a lot of people going, why are we going for another midfielder?
Yeah, Steve wrote in, he did a big paragraph with that as well.
But he can play that left-back, wing-back role.
I think when you look at him, and you don't know, you haven't really dug into his stuff, and you look at his appearances, they're not fantastic. But what the thing with him is,
He's fast.
No, I'm talking about his positioning. Right, you do the basic Google. I've just done it here, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at Uwakwe. You see, okay, Chelsea under-23s, he's made 4 appearances for them. He's 22. Oh, why has he only made 4 there? Accrington Stanley, it looks like he's made 21 appearances.
It's very
there.
much like
But
Roberts.
But then you read it here and he goes midfielder. But what you need to do is actually look into his loan report and things like that,
Yeah.
which he was playing as a left wing back
Yeah.
for Accrington Stanley in League One.
And that's what we need.
Yes.
We're not needing midfielders. And
We
I think
need wing back as well. He was playing that position. So if he's got the versatility of being a midfielder and a wing back, and we can bring him on a permanent.
But then
for
again,
me,
that's what more likes a player who can play every single position.
we talk about him playing for players out of position. Well, this one, I think he's been signed as more of a wing back with the option of going to the midfield if we get injuries. And Wednesday aren't shy to injuries at the minute.
And this might actually turn around and turn. It could be one of those things as well for like Brown saying to kick up the backside. Right, you need to work harder because sometimes you need that player who may be looking over his shoulder to go. Because look at Brown. We all saw him start the season and we thought, great, brilliant, we can get him to do something. But then he had that bad game and we haven't seen him since.
No, he's. I think that would have knocked his confident own goal as well, innit?
Yeah.
I think this would be a good bit. So I was happy when we were linked in the summer because young players with potential, that's a good way to do it. I think this would be a decent move for us. We need options in that position, and it's just the versatility for me. He can go in the midfield and he can go at left wing back. We're talking about bringing fullbacks in. You know, people have been talking about bringing fullbacks, wing backs in, saying we need to go for an out and out one. I understand that, but versatility is arguably even better.
If you look at all the players Moore's signed, they all can play at least 2 positions.
But Hunt and Palmer are 30s. Well, Palmer's just
well,
on 30.
well, this is the thing. We got. I think I read somewhere our average age of our squad is 27.
Yeah.
So we need to start
That's
building.
That's actually ideal,
but we need to start building for the future.
Yeah.
And we're not one to use our academy, are we? Let's be honest. When we have good academy players, we're like,
we let them go.
Yeah.
We have just a bit of news that I didn't put in there. We won't go into it fully in this Uwakwe section, but we have just re-signed Hunt on till
Alex
2023, Hunt. Alex Hunt, and we're sending him on loan to I think Oldham.
Yeah, the rumour. If he's going to Oldham, that makes sense. It's a relegation battle. It's another kind of way, but the length of contract is interesting.
Yeah, I think it leaves the club in a good position.
I wonder if it's one of the ones
that
if someone comes in to say.
Well, I think it's one of those that if he doesn't turn out the way we want him to, we can get rid, and then if he does, we can give him a contract. I know some people are questioning it, but
look at what happened with Sean Urgidi.
We'll see what happens with that one. We don't really need to go into it too
when
much,
he came in, he didn't want that to happen again.
Yeah.
And I
don't think it will. I think
sure.
there'll be options in there. I think it's a case of just protecting the club, protecting the player, giving him that option and seeing how he develops.
And also, for people saying, oh, play him now, where do you put him?
But it's still the end of 2023, so if he's going on loan for this second half of the season, if he has a really good spell at Oldham, we give him another contract in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, or
and then you see what
something.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. But Uwakwe
makes sense.
It does make sense. Let's go to his FIFA card like we always do. 63 rated bronze left wing back here, a rare bronze if I do recall rightly. 74 pace, 52 shooting, 55 passing, 57 dribbling, 57 defending for a defender.
Again.
Right? 62 physicality. Not great, but 22. There's the potential there.
There's the potential to get
you can work on
going.
it. We can't do a Talking Wednesday transfer link
without a FIFA card.
Without a little bit of a FIFA reference.
It's got to be. I think one day we're going to have it where it's behind you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing on a green.
Where we got like a full-on LED panel or a green screen. Let's go for the fancy studio, shall we? LED paneling behind me. Right.
Next you'll be wanting a Skypad.
Oh, yeah, no, Skycam, when we can just be like, doing all that, yeah. Right, so this is, we've talked about this a bit before, but this is a big one. What am I going for there? It's sprouting up again. The rumours are sprouting up again. Sheffield Wednesday potentially getting taken over. It's all over the Twitterverse at the minute. It looks like Chancery is ready to sell and he's actively looking. If you take into account what some people in the know, in quotes, have heard. Talk me through this, Jake.
So basically, you look at what's been going on recently with Wednesday. Everyone says he's got no cash. We can't say that at all. We don't know what the finances are. But you look at what's happened with Wednesday. They bought him in 2015, he went for Bust or Glory and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting so much stick. And I think it was telling that when normally when he comes over, he brings his family. And I don't think that's a case of, the pandemic and stuff. I don't want to. I think it's more of this is a business trip. This isn't getting to know people kind of thing. Because we all know he's family-based. He's very family-orientated. Now, the rumours are at the minute that the 3 potential people involved, an English person, and this ain't a joke, by the way, an English person, Swiss, and unknown. Right? And the English one, there's a rumour going around, it could be the something brothers who tried to buy Derby. I think it's Ellsworth brothers or something like that. They tried to buy Derby and they pulled out. And they got like 750 million. There's a lot of people who were, and the former Rangers shareholders.
Right, okay, so former Rangers shareholders, Sandy and James Easdale.
That's
so the
it.
Easdale brothers, yep.
So there was talk that they could be interested. Now, I'm all for it being a British person because they might understand it a little bit better. People with the Swiss link have gone, they know money. Now, if you made your money in Switzerland, there's only a couple of places where you could have made it. The unknown is the one that's a bit scary because you don't know who that is. You could get another chance there, or you could get a...
they're linked with Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
That's why they were there.
And a lot of people are like, I'd have Mike Ashley every day of the week. I'm like, no.
So I'm reading this about the Easdale brothers. So this is from Derbyshire Live. Quote, the former Rangers directors who have built a construction empire believed to be worth 750 million are said to be serious to rival American businessman Chris Kirchner for the control of the Rams. So they're linked with...
They pulled out as well.
They pulled out of the Derby one. So this is from...
pulled out.
Yeah, because this is from last year. So they might have gone, you know what, Derby...
They pulled out because the admin, with whatever's going on with Derby, the timescale just wasn't right and they couldn't figure it. But it would make sense why Chancery has been so quiet.
Yeah.
We haven't heard it. Normally, Chancery would be popping up with a call with a journalist or whatever, and we haven't heard anything.
Reading a little bit about them here, they look like businessmen. They're sort of like moving. They talk about moving on to the next thing. You know, trying to always sort of like progress. So,
and that's what we need.
Yeah, but
you don't want it. You don't want it as a business thing. You want it to be.
You don't want them.
If
you don't want the Mike Ashley situation of that sort of thing. Oh God, could you imagine if Mike Ashley took us over? I mean, you think he'd be in a great position, but
it's a stupid... Right. People always had the Mike Ashley thing. If you actually look at it as a business sense, Newcastle always made money. They were one of the only clubs... But no, as a business, they made money.
Yeah.
When you look at, like, Chelsea, Man City, there's always that massive loss. Newcastle always made a bit of cash.
And he's just sold them to absolutely rich owners. You talk about club... They might have had to go through the years a bit, but he sold them for an absolute fortune.
But if you actually look at what he does, he normally buys companies that are failing, aka a Derby.
Yeah.
And it is that thing where I think a takeover would be great, and I think it's probably good for Chancery to probably say, right, I've tried and stuff. And we said in the past that it probably not helped him mentally and stuff like that. But you run the risk of getting it right. Look at Ipswich. Ipswich just got taken over at the start of the season. It's only just getting work. And wasn't our valuation something stupid like 150 million from Chancery?
Well, that's what he said. I think if he is looking for an out, he apparently he's open to very serious talks now with stuff. He's taking serious offers for the club. I think he's probably will cut his losses a little bit. You'll have to cut his losses. Because wasn't he talking about he's put over like 300 million in for us, that sort of stuff? When you believe what you want to believe, but like in that situation, you're definitely gonna have to cut your losses. Even if it's not that, he will have to come up with some sort of situation where he cuts his losses.
The issue with the stadium, though, isn't it? The way you structure a deal, it's why Derby's struggling to be sold. Yeah, because you're having to do one deal for the stadium and then one deal for the.
Who else was linked with us?
A Swiss, someone who was Swiss, and I can't find anything on an unknown.
So Swiss takeover for Sheffield Wednesday. Let's see if there's anything in there.
The only one I could think is why the Swiss one might have popped up is because I think Southampton's old owners were Swiss.
Okay. Of course, this is going around the forums.
Yeah. But it's interesting to see, and it went the person who actually tweeted it is actually quite well at getting things bang on, and he had done in the past.
So Jake brought this topic to us. I think he's brought it to us from Owl's Talk, actually, but it looks like some people have been talking. So that's probably where the in the know stuff's come from.
No, I didn't get this from Owl's Talk.
Did you not?
No, I got this from somebody I know.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, so there's somebody that you know possibly has been talking to the somebody that posted this on Owl's Talk as well. But yeah, this has been going around Owl's Talk as well. But be interesting. Be interesting to see if it would you. What I really want to know is where are Wednesday fans' heads at the minute, because Chansiri has obviously gone and been a bit more quiet, done things, brought the CEO, brought Liam Dooley in. Liam Dooley's his name, right?
Yeah.
COO.
Yeah.
Try to have the operations of the club be a little bit more, take that step back.
But a lot of people's also gone, the timing's bad. Look at the season tickets, and somebody's like, why are there no transfers? Is he not wanting to put any more money in if he wanted to sell it?
Yes, but then there's also the fact that
there's
the rumour that we're under that soft embargo, and Cran and
we are.
Have been saying that we are in that embargo.
So for people who don't know about the embargo situation, it's not an embargo. When we had the point deduction, we agreed with the EFL to take a transfer restriction where we wouldn't be able to, basically like an embargo, but not an official one.
Yeah.
It was like the agreement we have with the point deduction. Now, a lot of people are like, are we going to still be in this come whenever, end of season? From what everyone said, we can go spend again in the summer.
Right.
And the thing is, some people gone, Darren Moore with money from what he's done now, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. He built a squad out of nothing. But then you got the other side, what's Darren Moore like with money? Because he's only had money when he was at West Brom.
Yeah, well, I've seen some nastiness about like, oh, well, Darren Moore built this team. He did rebuild it, but he rebuilt it with nothing. He built it with,
it's not
with
a rebuild.
Scraps and connections. You know, it's not. You can't rebuild a club.
I think this is a restart. More than anything. And I think it's a restart ready for next year, and then have a rebuild. And I think they've done that whole kind of thing where they've gone, right, we're going to put out that we're going for promotion. We don't want to let the fans down. But if we don't get it, we'll have to turn and say, look, I couldn't sign players last season. I was hampered by this. He's not got the excuses, but he's got that kind of clickbait.
Yeah.
To kind of say, they can go, and if he then doesn't do it after that, then you are after. And the thing is, if Moore's on a rolling contract, if his contract is up at end of season, we might be looking at another manager anyway. And especially if you've got a takeover.
They could decide to part ways, do all of that. But I really want to know what our community thinks on the takeover thing again, because it does crop up. It keeps the fact that it's cropping up
like every 2 years.
Yeah, not even that, but like on this podcast, it's been going a year. This is the anniversary episode. And
it came last year.
We've done like 3 topics on it because
last year with Alonso.
Yeah, it's happened a few times, and we even talked, I think as close as a couple of months ago, there was links again about him looking for buyers, and not George Byers. We got George Byers. Oh, that's terrible. Absolutely
that was
terrible.
A bad pod.
I might not be a dad, but I've got plenty of dad jokes.
You got the dad jokes.
Yeah, but there was talk about him looking for buyers of the club, and it's cropping up again, so it will be interesting
to see how that
one plays out.
Is interesting for me.
Yeah,
the timing.
Do you really care? Do you really like? He needs to go and get a sale, or
the problem is the telling thing is for us is when we do our big financial episode when we get the accounts.
Yeah,
because next year's accounts are going to be interesting.
I enjoy doing the accounts episodes.
I know you do. You're like you're a secret accountant. Yeah. You enjoy like facts and numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Where I can't stand them.
Oh no, I don't like them when I have to do them for like actual serious.
But you've got to remember, next year will be interesting because that'll be the year with everything with no gates.
Yeah,
and see how much. I hope it shows how much money we actually do make from iFollow.
Yeah.
Because the split for iFollow is actually
they make decent. Enough off me when I do my watch-alongs.
Yeah,
so, let us know in the comments what you. There is. Oh, the plug, he's got it. Let us know what you think on the potential Wednesday takeover. Who would you like to see come in for Sheffield Wednesday? If you've got any insight, let us know in the comments below.
And if you want to privately, email us.
Yes, talkingwednesdaypodcast@gmail.com. That would be excellent if you could do that. That would be something that would be ideal for us. I was just checking if we had any incoming information. Have we got any incoming information? Okay.
Oh.
What's the incoming information? You can talk to us.
Yes.
Which one?
Which one?
Oh.
Oh,
so
that one.
so the yes, so the you're talking about takeovers. If you actually search for it, our video pops up. So yes, we have talking about it recently. So there's that. But yeah, let us know number one result. Brilliant,
nice one.
wonderful.
The Googles.
Let's see if this is a breakout. It does the same. Let us know in the comments. So this is the talky to the community bit. Talky to the community bit. That's a great start.
Oh, that's really
so we are
we
are talking to our community as we've done. We did a big community episode a little while ago, but now we're in the same room. It's a little bit different.
Odd.
We're using it through Discord. If you want the link to the Discord for future situations like this, then you can join the Discord by asking me for the link. I might put the link more readily available, but right now we are just going through requests. But yes, we have got joining us today 2 members of our community for this section. We've got Dave Jones. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, Dave. I should announce that you aren't the former Sheffield Wednesday manager, Dave Jones, are you? Just to double check.
Not to my knowledge, no.
No.
But, you never know. Everyone else has been manager for the past few years, so
exactly.
I'm waiting for my call.
Well, you never know with the state of Wednesday at the minute. And we're also joined by Worko. How are you doing, Worko, mate?
I'm all right, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. It's been a while since me and Caboodlefish were just spamming you with £10 donations to see Kadeem Harris come up on the screen.
It's been a little while since the stream, hasn't it? Yeah. But we've definitely had some fun on those streams.
You do realise you can never get rid of Kadeem, right?
Yeah, I can't now, can I?
No,
really.
It's a running
He's
joke.
a cult icon right now.
He is. We've got. I can see Andy online in the Discord, but maybe he's busy today. He's just vibing. I was hoping we could bring him in and he could do like an hour's rant in this podcast. It'd be like
I really wanted to know what he's
Gary Monk.
Well, I just want to know what his theory on the left back situation is still.
That would be good. That would be interesting, especially if he still thinks we should put Patterson at right back. I'm just adjusting. You see, now I'm in person with Jake. I've just adjusted his mic. I'm such a podcast mum because I'm like, no, that's not how we do it for audio. But yes, so this is a bit different to how we did it last time. We're going to keep everybody in while we're chatting and have a general chat. So if Dave's got some thoughts on what Worko's saying, or Worko's got some thoughts on what Dave's saying, we can all chat and we can all go in there and just have a proper community chat. So I know, Worko, however, you have prepared some questions. So should we start with yourself, sir, in terms of bringing stuff to us, and we will go that way?
Okay, sounds good. So the first question I've prepared is, what exactly comes to mind when I ask you, what does Sheffield Wednesday mean to you?
Oh, good question.
With the deep. Go on, Jake.
For me, it's family, really, because I used to go with my gran, and it's one of those things where I used to enjoy time watching the game with her, and also watching family members fall out, because we had a section of Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United fans, and that was always fun. Christmas was never fun.
No, we used to have some from where I lived. A lot of those were United fans, but majority of my family have been Wednesday fans. For me, if we're going to go down the lame family aspect, because we say it all the time, it's the cliche in football. But for me, it is genuinely a case of my nan lived quite close to. It's sort of like in a position where I could get parked and then take a bit of a trek to the ground. So it was a case of match day always meant to me that, like, gonna go see my nan, go and do that, that sort of thing. So that's what was the thing.
Was it kind of like go to a game, have dinner, go home?
Yeah, pretty much. So it is, if you were going off the family aspect, I'd have that. But for me, it's just been, I always make the joke that it's like a religion. You go to your church.
Well, I technically can say that because I got married there. And it's something me and my missus always say when we go back. Well, at church too, because we got married there.
I've just seen the actual wedding photo of him in, and Soph walked past it and went, "We're not doing that." Just so you're aware, we're not doing that.
Well, they lost me. They lost me before the wedding. I was just sat in the cop on my own.
Oh right, okay. Well, they at least they eventually found you. Wow, did you just sod off then?
Yeah, I basically got told go for one that she's turning up soon. I didn't tell anyone where I went. And so I was like, he hasn't done a runner.
Thing is, right, I'm not being insensitive, but what if you'd have, like, fitted out in the cop on
Oh,
your own
yeah.
on your wedding day, and like,
I had that thought, but I was just like, this is nice, this is weird. And so, the funniest bit out of our entire wedding, none of me going missing, everyone knows where Wednesday ground is, across from Hilbert Park.
yep.
They're doing all the announcements and going, do you do this? And my missus starts giggling her ass off. I'm like, why are you giggling? There's a dog over there chasing his bum. And it's like, everyone just went. And it's like, it was really good to break the ice, but it was a weird experience, to be fair, getting married at Wednesday. Because,
Yeah, I can imagine. I'd feel like very odd.
yeah, it was really odd. It's like, I normally sit here and there's my mate here and here, but now there's me missus it and there's no one here. What the hell?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a way to do it. What about you then, Worker? What does it mean? Let's flip the question on yourself.
So I think generally as well, speaking, I mean, for a lot of people possibly, but it's and when I see people ranting about the ticket pricings and that sort of thing, and I can sort of understand why, because for a lot of people, going to watch Sheffield Wednesday is an escape for everything going on in the outside world, for people who may really struggle with things on a day-to-day basis, but then they get to go and sit there with the Bovril and chips or Bovril and Balti pie or something like that, and they get to escape from it all for 90 plus minutes, right? And I think that's wonderful, and I felt the same quite a bit when I was still living in Sheffield and had a season ticket and everything. But then more personally as well, it's about, at the moment, it's about the memories that I have with my dad, because, and I've talked to you privately about it, Jake, as well, and on the general chat and stuff. But my dad passed away in 2019, and that was really hard for me. But I get to, I feel like a really deep connection with the club, because it's where I always went with my dad, and that was like some of the biggest, most crucial memories I have with my dad was, like, say, the 6-0 win against Leeds, right, in 2014, I think it was. I just remember scoring the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and we just stood up and just started throwing our arms around each other and cheering, and just that feeling of that lasting feeling that I will always have with my dad, and it's always tied to Sheffield Wednesday, and it's one of the biggest, most heartfelt feelings I have, and that sort of family connection, I guess, is why we all love the club so much, and why we all just want to spend time there, and why we feel so passionately about it, because it's like an extended family member. And sorry to be getting a bit
No. Honestly, I was only being facetious earlier when I said the lame.
Oh no,
because it is genuinely.
honestly,
Yeah.
But as well, I think that's what possibly wasn't. This is tying it into the relegation and everything, but I think possibly that's what people weren't instilling into the players last year, that this is what it means to the fans. This is what it means to all of these people, that you stay in this division and that you fight for the badge, because they all fight for the badge. They all fight for their chance to get to have this escapism, to have this family feeling and this togetherness. And I don't think that necessarily was put across to the players last year, because I think possibly if it was, they would have fought a lot harder, or
Well,
a lot
you
of
look
them
at what's
did. I know
going
there
on
was
at
certain
Derby.
that did. But yeah, exactly. And just it fills me with immense pride that I've tying it back to the thing with my dad. It just fills me with pride that I get to be a fan of a club that has such a closely tied family aspect to it. Like with the there was the lady who lost her husband. I can't remember
Shell.
her name now. Yes, Shell.
Yes.
There was the lady who lost her husband, and the whole fan base just
They
came
rally.
together and they rallied.
Yeah.
And there was the chap from London that Lee Bullen had. The chap just went out of his
Sid.
way to
Yeah,
have
that's Sid.
with Sid. Yeah, Sid. He follows
See,
me.
we all
So,
know.
Yeah,
That's the thing. You know, I'm an antisocial
like-
person generally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even
Like-
in this community, in the Wednesday community, the good side of Wednesday,
You
because
always
obviously we
see it.
talk about the bad side as well, but the good side is when you really get that.
Yeah.
You know, there's toxic elements to everything, but that's what it means, that Wednesday. And I do feel like we've lost that a little bit in terms of when something really bad happens, we've got it there. But in terms of general sort of like discourse between fans, if you look at like Twitter, it's a minefield, isn't it? There's a lot of toxicity there with it. And that's not the fan base that Wednesday is. What Wednesday is to me is exactly what you're saying, mate. You know, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and it's just so. I just feel such pride when I see things like that about Sheffield Wednesday, and it's why I almost get so angry when I see other fan bases trying to trash Wednesday a little bit, because
Mm.
that's what we've got. We've got this whole tied together family aspect to the club, and it's so historic. Like, yes, sure, we make a habit a bit of looking to the past and saying how fantastic we are rather than present accolades, etc. But that doesn't matter, because look at our heritage. Look at how we've always been so intrinsically family orientated, and how closely tied our fan base are generally. It's a shame that the bad aspects are very loud, but I don't like to think that aspect is the main aspect at all. Like, all the closely tied, family knit sense, commitment, it's all there, and it's so wonderful to see, and it's why I'm so proud and passionately love the club. Really, I wouldn't want to support anybody else if Sheffield Wednesday ceased to exist tomorrow. I don't think I would bother going to support anybody else ever. Because I know some people say they jump over to a Premier League team or whatever.
You shit yourself on that one.
I did.
You shit yourself on that one. No, we might have. I might have looked like I was pulling faces a couple of points there. That's because Jake's stomach grumbled louder than the sun, and Soph moved and kicked something over. So I was like, "What are you two doing during this emotional moment?" But honestly, mate, I know I've spoke to you a little bit. I know Jake spoke to you a lot, and I'm just glad that Wednesday have got that for you, and I'm glad that obviously we can speak about it, and the connections come through Wednesday, and even through Wednesday's faults, the connections there, between people. Dave,
and I'll be honest. Sorry.
No, go.
And I'll be honest as well. I for a while I've thought about coming back to Hillsborough, and I can't, because I still feel sometimes quite raw about it. The whole thing that my dad won't be sat there with me. By the way, shout out to whoever is sat in.
When you want to come to Wednesday, let us know.
Let us know, and if we can sort something out, maybe a night match or something, we'll sort it out.
Yeah,
and we'll all sit together. All right. Yeah. But
in
we're
the
going
north
on
stand, gangway R, row 40, seats 59 and 60. Whoever is sat there are in very special seats, because that's where I sat with my dad for 5 years. And they're some of my most cherished. Anyway, sorry.
Well, if you ever feel up to it and you go, I want to go to a match, and we obviously we can go. We'd be like that night match or something. Night match is the best for us at the minute. With stuff like that, we will we'll come round. Yeah, we'll go and we'll sit in the cop. So it'd be like you can set. You've got your memories, you've got those, and then you can set something different. And I move around the ground a lot anyway, and it's that sort of. You can change it up, make new ones if you ever feel ready for that. But mate, that's big. I like that. I like that. I like that you've got that connection there.
I'm 6'2", so we need to make sure that we sit somewhere that's got better leg room than most of the south stand.
I'm 6'4", so there's that as well. Yeah.
My shins.
Jake will be fine. Jake's taller than I thought he was, though.
Yeah.
Dave, so same question to yourself then, mate. Obviously, a lot covered there, but anything from yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, well, I'm based in the Midlands, so I don't really have many friends and family that are Wednesday fans. I'm kind of on my own. I mean, I went to school with one of my friends at school was a Wednesday fan, but apart from that, I don't really know many locally. So I think for me, it's that match day experience that you really feel that connection to the club, just that drive up to Sheffield, and then, you start walking towards the ground and you've got fans everywhere, and you just feel ultimately connected to that fan base. And that's something that I really like, it's that community aspect of it, which is brilliant, feeling welcome and just part of something. That's something I always pick up on. And I think away...
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the slight Discord lag's always going to do me there, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah, and it's like, when I go on holiday, quite a few times I've ended up running into Wednesday fans, and complete strangers.
How many Wednesday fans you find on holiday, and you're not even looking.
Yeah.
Well, my uncle. This is a swear moment, by the way. I might have to bleep it, but we'll see. But my uncle went to Australia once, and he travelled to Australia for a little while, and he was going down an escalator, and this was 10 years ago or something, screaming at the top of his voice, "Hi-ho, silver lining," and somebody coming down the other way of the escalator went, "It's a fucking Wednesday fan!" You know, and that was like just
that.
randomly in Australia somewhere. So it's like the fan base is there.
Well, you look at all the pop-up Wednesday supporter groups that have popped up during lockdown. You've got a lot of the Americans. You've got a lot of the. I think I saw a Spanish one recently, Argentinian, and you forget how global we are at times. It's only when you pop on the social medias and you see something, it's like, oh yeah, we've got fans all over, haven't we?
Yeah, no, it's mental. So what we'll do with this, Dave, if you've got anything else to add there, that's cool. We'll give you that. But if not, what I think we'll do, we'll go for, because Worker's got like 4 set things. We'll go for 2, and then we'll go to you, Dave, to bring something to us, and then we'll do it like that. Anything to add before we go to that?
No, that's great. Yeah, like I say, it is funny how you have that connection when you go to places, you know. Yeah. Whether it's just like a nod of appreciation, or the old, we're all Wednesday, aren't we? That gets shouted quite a bit. So
I swear we were the ones to coin that as
we
well.
were.
Just saying, everyone nicks what we do. The Barmy Army thing as well back in the day.
Well, look at the whole Semedo chant. You hear that all the time in the Premiership now.
You might even hear it in the Premier League.
Sod off.
Yeah, I see. Jake didn't check himself there, did he?
No. Right, Worko, what was the next thing you're going to bring to us, mate?
So basically, the other 2 that I won't mention now are basically podcast related ones, making the podcast because it's the anniversary episode, of course. But funniest memories during the Sheffield Wednesday game, home and away. Please, share.
Oh, my funniest one was obviously that the musician in the toilet thing, where somebody had seen a gig and they were like, "Are you that guy that was playing that venue?" And that was weird. Away, I always think the one of the funniest things ever was seeing a Wednesday fan absolutely hammered before the Cardiff, promotion way back when I was a kid, because it stuck in my memory. It was that funny. They were kicking a football about, and somebody had lobbed it onto the top of a bank, so he climbed all the way onto the top of the bank on this huge bank and gone up, and then he just booted it in the air, and people started editing it, and then somebody just took it straight in the face. But this guy was so hammered, he was just like, "Ah!" and then just got up and started throwing it around, and I was just like, I was like 10 or whatever at the time, and I was like, this is odd, this is funny. But yeah, that was that. They were mine. What about yourself, Jake?
I slid down the entire steps of the cop.
Yeah, I bet that was funny for other people more than yourself.
I got up, went there, and said, "You do realise we all saw you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to go away gracefully, and it's not working." And away was an away fan. When we're away, we love a drink, and sometimes it goes a little bit too far, right? Mm-hmm. Away fan just decided to shove his top on top of a lamppost and leave it there for saying, I'm Tango. And then it got really cold and really wet really quickly. And you had this bloke who's not very in shape trying to climb a pole going, whoosh.
That was quite a nice way of putting it. Not very in shape.
Yeah. And it was just funny watching him try and do it, because he gave it a good 30 minutes.
He was trying to be Tango.
Yeah.
He going around saying, I'm Tango.
Yeah.
Fair play.
But he lobbed his shirt up a lamppost.
Fair enough.
And was trying to get it for 30 minutes.
A lot of the stuff is the stuff that doesn't happen in the ground, isn't it, really? That's the memories you have. It's the memories you have with the people. Again, it goes back to that community. What about yourself, Worko?
So picture the scene, right? Reading away, 2018, right? So my dad was from Reading, and we were we had friends down there, and one of them had a wife with MS, so we were sat there in the Reading end in front of the disabled enclosure, really close to the pitch or whatever. And so
where's this along going?
Along comes Fernando Forestieri and Stephen Fletcher warming up, running on the pitch or whatever. And my dad decides to go, Nando! And Fernando Forestieri turns around, gives like a thumbs up, and is all like, "Why the heck is the away end shouting my name?"
Yeah.
And so then we just look around, and I'm looking at him like, "What the heck have you done, Dad? What have you done?"
Because now you're obviously turn target.
Around, yeah. So then I turn back around again, look at the pitch, and suddenly we've got all eyes on us from everywhere, literally everywhere. And then there's an awkward tumbleweed pause moment, and my dad then goes, "What? I really like Portuguese chicken." It's just an eruption of laughter from all around, and then a load of Reading fans just then bought us a beer at half time.
That's awesome.
But that's my funniest. That's my funniest memory. Other than at home, when we were sat there at home in the North Stand, and there was just two like random guys who every single game would always just start screaming at the top of their lungs, "Squeeze them, Wednesday, squeeze them!" Just over and over again. It was fantastic.
Honestly, if you sit on the cot, some people are so off cut sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They're going for it. It can be funny in itself, you know. And like, there's kids sat right next to them, and they'll just be full on like gone. Dave, I know you don't. I know you're in the Midlands, so it might not be relevant to you as much. But you got any funny memories from either away or home?
I think the only one really that I can think of is, gosh, it must have been. I think it was the 2001-2002 season. I went to Wednesday when they were playing Watford. It was quite early on in the season, and we were sat in front of a fan who I don't think in my life I've ever seen a more stressed fan at a football match. This poor chap was going through the motions. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. He was nail biting, red-faced, flustered. I mean, it wasn't even a bad match, to be fair. We weren't even losing. But this poor bloke, and yeah, he was just in such a state. And then I can remember Watford scoring. They took the lead. I think we did win eventually. And it came up on the board that they'd given the goal to Sheffield Wednesday instead. And my dad, was with us. He decided to tap this bloke on the shoulder and just say to him, "Look at that. They can't even get the score right, can they?" And this bloke, I thought he was going to have a meltdown. It was.
Was he very red? Was he sort of like neck veins bulging, that sort of like full on like losing his voice? Just was he on the liquor then, or was he just full on?
I would imagine he might have been, to be fair, because it wasn't that bad match really. It was quite a balanced game, to be fair. Wednesday weren't playing badly, so yeah, I would imagine that was probably the case. But yeah, that was quite an eventful moment. That's the only thing that I can really recall. Match day.
He sounds like that fan you get that's always like flagging the playoff when they do something brilliant and he doesn't say, "Oh, he's all right then."
Oh God, there's a lot of them. A lot of them.
The North Stand is
Knew
full of
you,
those
big
sorts of fans
donkey.
like me.
You big dog. Oh, he scored. Oh, look at that.
Why are you playing Palmer? He's useless.
Oh.
He's not good. What you doing? Puts the cross in. Well, I could do that. No, you can't.
All right then, mate. When did you last see your feet? No, that's so. Dave, we're gonna go to you now. So, what did you want to bring to the table today, my friend?
Yeah, I did post a few topics on the.
You
Discord.
did. We are going to do those when we do we're going to do a community section actually. So if you want to use any of those, you can do them, and we'll cut them out later.
Yeah. We'll go for one of them. Just save you time to think. Just in terms of like the football and stuff, then. So, what's your favourite away ground that you've been to? Is there any in particular that stand out that have been memorable, that you've enjoyed going to or enjoy going to on a regular basis?
I've got a few different reasons for this, but you can go first.
I liked Luton.
I
really liked Luton. Oh no! Did we like what?
When their fans came for me that time after.
Yeah. But I liked Luton because it's just a weird ground with where it's positioned and you're going through someone's back garden to get to the ground, and it's so odd and so old school. I think some of the like newer stadiums, when you look at Reading's derby, they feel soulless. You know, because of where they are.
Luton is. I get what you're saying there. I like grounds with history and character. I don't like them to feel too plastic, and that's
why I'm a little bit against them moving to a point.
The thing we've said on the podcast time and time again is we need a bigger stadium if we were ever to go to heights, but at the minute we don't even think we're going to get back up, do we? To be honest, so it's one of those where whether we can actually reach those, but it'd mean houses getting knocked down. We'd have to do some.
You would have to
raised
probably
works.
have
You'd
to take
move some stuff. You'd have to probably
2 hours of that.
You'd have to probably work with the council and sort out roads.
Oh,
You'd
that's
have to-
good. Because we got a really good relationship with the council when it comes to doing stuff. Remember when we got the safety certificate renewed?
It's just, to be honest, Hillsborough doesn't feel too safe when at certain points of it. But yeah, I don't know. I've got this sort of like sentimental one now. I quite like Lincoln's going to when we went to Lincoln, because me and Soph went there and it was a laugh because I kind of convinced us to go to an away ground. So there's a bit more of that to me there, because and Lincoln's a nice away day. You know, it's near.
It's a nice city.
It's one of those. We went to Lincoln and it was just a nice little proper ground. You know, so I quite like Lincoln for that, and I'll go for the sentimental one there purely because I actually managed to convince Soph to go to a football match, and it was a first ever football match, so that was good there. I know it's cliche, but I do like the big stadiums.
You ever done Newcastle?
So you know, if you're not going to go for character, I've not been to Newcastle.
Newcastle fun.
I didn't do Newcastle away. I really like the Etihad as a stadium. You know, if you're going for stadium, it's just, if you are going to be a big club, you might as well be a modern club and go for all those bells and whistles. If you're going to completely go out from the character style, you go for the big blockbuster thing, and then there's those. So we've looked at it from both spectrums there. I think there's some really nice stadiums. I do want to go to Tottenham's new ground.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
But Wednesday playing Tottenham would be interesting. But yeah, I quite agree with the character thing. So we've gone for Luton and Lincoln there. Yourself?
I think one of the ones that stands out for me has always been Villa Park. I think there's always been a good atmosphere there. Every game I've been to there, it's always been packed.
So you've gone for atmosphere and that sort of thing. Yeah, no, I get that completely.
Yeah, so that's always a good one. So yeah, I think you've got that. But I agree. I do like the older grounds. You know, the old school grounds. They do have a lot of character, and that's one thing I like about Hillsborough as well. Yeah, I suppose
it's got character, but it definitely needs a lick of paint.
Yeah. It needs one shade of blue. For
not
Christ's
like
sake.
50,000.
Yeah.
Like, I saw somebody put a post up on Instagram. I was like, oh, they painted it. Now I've done it in Photoshop. Like, oh, that looks so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
The thing is, they could probably get somebody like community based to do it. Look, we'll help if you want to paint it. I don't get why, as a club, we don't reach out to community and say, look, we've got this, we need it painting, who wants help?
They've tried a little bit more, but it still could do with some work on there. What about you, Worko? You got any you like?
So this is a real left field one, right? But I really enjoyed Yeovil Town away.
That is left field.
Yeah, right. Like, it looks like the ground's about to fall down, and you get absolutely soaking wet through on the away end because it's standing outdoors, like no roof, nothing. But it's just fantastic. It's just such a laugh. Like, anybody that goes there has got a really good sense of humor. So like the whole away end is just constantly making jokes about everything, and then singing like jokey kind of songs about the players and whatever. And then the actual every single person is in touching distance of the players as well. If they like score and run over to you and celebrate, and it's just great. But it's like it's also like a kind of homely atmosphere in a way as well.
Yeah,
I've noticed. I feel.
What was the game we got in trouble for this year? This Crew won it because their stadium was very similar, really close, and we got told off a little bit.
Yeah, but we pitch invaded and then got battered for the next 2 months.
Oh yeah, that was our little.
Remember that?
Yeah.
By the way, do you guys remember those old like World Cup renovation plans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why has nobody revisited those? Like, why have they just been lost in the ether?
They were great as well. They
really were.
Because they sorted some things. Because I think Middlewood was part of that.
Yeah, it was.
Because obviously adequate training facilities.
I was doing a Google image search the other day on SAD. I was looking at like other teams' training pictures. We got like 2 training pictures. That's it.
Yeah.
And you look at like MK Dons, they got like 8.
Yeah, and the grass can be a big thing as well, depending on whether it's artificial or something.
Yeah, it's just sort of you look at what we got in terms of training ground. It's shambolic. He's done what he can to make it look and make it workable, but you need to buy a bit of land or sell it, because I know they tried to buy Niagara or whatever it is behind it.
Yeah.
But that would only still give you another 2 pitches.
Well, he might not do it now at all.
No.
At the top of this, we haven't talked about it yet because we're doing this bit in reverse. Aha, technology. But yeah, there's a lot of heavy takeover talk at the minute, isn't there? So we'll see what actually happens with that. But yeah, thanks for bringing that one, Dave. Anything else you want to talk about on that one before we move on to Worko's podcast-related questions?
I'm kind of shocked, by the way, that they never there's the Don Valley Stadium that they could have done something like they could have purchased for not a high amount of money.
It wasn't.
And then there's the old there was the old Sheffield airport that was just a wasteland for so long. They could have bought that and then turned that into something as well.
Well, isn't there a factories district?
Been...
There's like a little factories district pretty close to Hillsborough as well, isn't there? So it's like a lot of them are could have been bought out.
As a geography student and geography graduate, I would say using a brownfield site, which is that, would be a lot better for the environment than just buying a strip of land that's
get you
and
you and your maps.
You and your degree.
You and your maps and going
me
on
and my
to...
colouring in degree. God.
Well, the thing is, what I don't get with the whole training ground, there's so many people like, it got to be in Sheffield. Does it really, though? There's so many clubs whose training grounds are not actually in where they are. The only bit where we screwed up was when Sheffield United came into our area.
The whole point of it being there, though, is being able to do outreach for your local stuff and having your training ground accessible to your. That's the big part of it. To be honest, we just, as you said, we shouldn't let United have that where we should. It's so close, and it'd have been ideal. For
that being
us.
said, they're looking at selling that up soon. They're looking at buying some airfield somewhere.
But yeah, Dave. Yeah, back to you, mate, on that. On what I just said before all that.
Sorry, I've lost the train of thought now.
Yeah. So anything to add, or anything to add?
No, I don't think so. But I do. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, Hillsborough, it does need a bit of work, doesn't it? You know, it is starting to. Look a bit sorry for itself, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it just needs some consistency, because there's a lot of the ground that's not safe for use either. We need to. We talk about renovation, but we talk about expansion and stuff. Renovation would help, and get it sorted.
I remember when they put the TVs on the concourse, and in winter someone would exploding.
Yeah, or just sort of like adequate Wi-Fi facilities out or something. Get it into the modern day, so I can actually tweet from the ground decently.
Then again, you always know when the Wi-Fi bad when you watch. It's a home game. You're looking at the Twitter going, have they done anything yet? Been a while.
Well, yeah, because we could just do with proper fan Wi-Fi or stuff. Because I don't even bother to look anymore.
No.
But I just always use my 4G there, and then it's spotty signal and everything. But yeah, renovation in general. But yeah, no, Dave,
please, for the love of God, they need to sort out the tannoy system. Oh my God, you cannot hear a single word that the guy says. Oh my word.
Yeah. No.
Hey, yeah, but he did give us a big green telly in the corner when he took over,
he did.
and it doesn't look great when you look at it.
Yeah, no, it looks old now, doesn't it?
It does.
We were like, ooh, telly.
We got all excited about our new pitch. Remember those days?
Yeah, and then we broke it. Yeah. So, Worko, what were your podcast-related topics, buddy?
So, first of the 2 podcast questions: favorite memories of making the podcast for each of you.
Oh.
There are none. It's a chore. No, I'm kidding.
I really liked. I think it was the early days. In January, I was having a bit of time away from work. It was chucking it down with snow. Me and Soph were having snow days and fireplace sort of days, and I had that time to set up the podcast. For me, it was around the context around it, sort of like the early days last January, that sort of thing, and just being able to build it up and go, do you know what? We don't really care what the response is to this. It's more a case of let's just go with it and run with it, and initially just having a laugh with it. So for me, it was just the building of it and actually seeing if we could stick with something. That's the reason we're doing this podcast, because we actually stuck with it. Yeah. I wouldn't usually be like, oh look, we've been doing something for a year, but on my history, I get bored with stuff. So doing this for a year was something.
It's your longest running series, isn't it, on your channel?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's not just been about that though. It's been, obviously, you and me have chatted about all of
Yeah.
that, and I just think it's the past few podcasts when we've been time pressured haven't been the same as the laughs that we had in the book, because we used to chat. We used to chat for like an hour before and after the podcast, and then we just stopped doing that because we just used to use it. We do it all on the podcast. But what about you, Jake?
For me, it was having another content creator, but one that's a Wednesday fan to reach out. Cause I was doing before we started, I was doing a lot of different little podcasts with other YouTube content creators, and it was great. And
have you got a specific moment that you think was funny though? We'll go to the, because I beat it around the question a little bit too much there, so I'll try and get Jake to actually answer it.
Any time where it would be we'd be checking something, or I think one of the best ones was recently when we was like, oh no, I've run out of room on the hard drive.
Oh yeah,
and we were sort of like, we need to stop. But for me, it was some of the things that get like put in the members section. It's just stupid things like, because when I record, I've got to do it around family, so it could be when my little girl's around, or it could be when the dog's about, and it's always something like that happens that makes me go, oh yeah, it's not just me in this house doing a podcast. I've got other people who might wander in.
No, yeah. For some wider context, there was a week, and obviously, if you're not a member of this channel, you wouldn't have known this. We put it in there, but like we were setting up for the podcast, and his kid walked in and just like started stripping off camera like to the side near the door, and it was just like one of those things you couldn't predict. And we made a joke about hard drives and stuff before going in there, and he was like, we've already talked about checking his hard drive, because we were talking about checking hard drive space, and just bursting out into laughter. It's the stuff in the setup. But I think actually thinking about a specific moment, thinking on it, I really enjoyed when we did the kit ranking stuff.
Yeah.
Because we got to look back through the history and do a little bit more of that. I enjoyed that. But yeah, that would be mine there.
I kind of enjoyed the little debrief we did at the end of last season, where we were like all optimistic of what we could happen. We were actually not too down. We were like, it's happened, let's move on.
Yeah.
Because you were listening to a lot of other things who were like, it's like, all right, it's done, we're done now, we're not going to do it. It's like, we were trying to find a positive take on things.
Yeah.
And yes, we still got that positive take now to a point, but we now know what the ramifications are. We didn't know back then that we weren't allowed to spend any money. We didn't know what was going on with said players. So now we're in this position. It's, yes, like most Wednesday fans, a lot was like, right, we're going up top. And I know in your prediction you had a quite high.
Yeah.
Start of the season, I put us mid-table. And I think we're about that, because I think it's a harder league.
It's not a hard league, but it's harder than we probably anticipated going into it. We weren't underestimating it, but yeah, we'll talk about actual football in a bit. But yeah, thanks for that. What was your next one, Worko?
Funniest behind the scenes.
Oh,
that you can
God damn it!
Just had it.
We've just had it. No, it genuinely was that I actually couldn't stop laughing.
It was a good 5 minutes before we start the podcast again.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think some of the funniest one for me is when I'm sending him stuff. It's like, right, this isn't like, and there've been a couple of times where my tech stuff has gone wrong.
Jake's
like,
crap at writing, Jake's crap at tech, right? Okay, and he admits this is what he says, okay? They're his words, not mine. So the fact I've let him loose on the Talking Wednesday Twitter is another thing now.
Hey, I haven't made a spelling mistake yet.
I think he triple spell checks stuff now if he's going to put stuff on there. Because we've done like a Teams thing to get him involved and try and like actually go into that Twitter space.
It was really funny the other day. I got a message going, I appreciate you tried really hard, and it was like,
well, no, because I messaged Soph, because Soph's also got access, and I went, did you just do a sneaky tweet like promoting the video and doing something? And she was like, no. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Jake put a sentence in sense. And just actually seeing him do that was...
If you ever have a look at the Word document kind of thing, before anyone else had got it, you got to understand my brain. And I think Dex and Soph have really started to understand how my brain works and what fits where.
You leave... The only thing that annoys me about your document is he'll put a story in that's changed, or he'll put something in that'll go, oh, this is the lead up to this match. Could this happen in this match? He'll put that in, forgetting that the podcast's after the bloody match. And I'll be like, right, so we're getting rid of that. We're getting rid of that. And I'm like, this makes no relevance anymore, Jake.
I think the best one was when we both put two stories in that was exactly the same. And you went, Have you just copy and paste the same story at the same time? I'm like, oh yeah, it's a.
The thing is though, he'll go to me. Oh, we've got quite a big document this week. I went, have you seen the edits? Because all the stuff's not relevant anymore. So yeah, it's that kind of behind the scenes stuff. Sort of. What's been nice for me is bringing Jake into that world of like, I want this done here. The reason I'm not that active on YouTube is I try and have a certain sort of like standard of content, even though it's not like fantastic. I want it to be a case of like, if it's a piece, it's edited. A podcast is a bit different for me, but I still want some form of production value. Even, I don't want it to just be sort of like, you're seeing a lot of Zoom podcasts, that sort of thing, because that's what obviously the specific time. I wanted to bring some of the channel's philosophies. No, well, to be honest, I come from an audio background, so they're my sort of like audio things. I wanted to make sure that if we did something, we did it right. When we did it,
and it had to. There's something about.
There's nothing wrong with Zoom podcast. Before I'm saying use it your means, and people take crap out of context.
Well, let just be
breaking news this week on Dexterity Box. Dexterity insults every single Zoom podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be fair, up until now, every single one of our podcasts have been Zoom.
Yeah, it's actually, but we don't use the Zoom feed. That's what I mean. Like, because for me, I listen to podcasts. I want a little bit of audio production going in there because I imagine it going through a car set of speakers. Now that's quite funny because obviously this part of the podcast is probably going to be a little bit worse because we're going through internet servers. So it's quite ironic that we're doing it in this. However, through my headphones, it sounds pretty good. I don't know what you're using, Worko, but it also sounds pretty good.
It's a Rode NT USB microphone, studio microphone.
It's very good.
You're a voice actor, aren't you?
Surprisingly, no.
Are you not?
I just decided to get one because I wanted to do like a whole.
I remember you was asking me on one of my things. What microphone's good? I mentioned that, and you're like, "Oh, I have that."
Yeah, my first mic was a Rode NT1. What NT1A? Is that what you said you've got?
I think it is. It's the USB variant of a NT or whatever.
Oh,
so.
No.
You don't do USB mic, do you?
No.
I mean, it's just simply because I'm not very tech savvy at certain things.
No, it works. Don't get me wrong. It's better. It does sound nice, but USB, you want to go through a proper mixer, XLR. Do your balance. But that's exactly it. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I am so like. Our podcast's quite hot though, so actually on a lot of devices are mono speakers, so some people will have to turn us down when they're listening to us because it's mixed for good equipment. And I do that purposefully because I like listening to things that can really push the boundaries of stuff, but it also means that most people listen on a phone. I do have to have some sort of compromise so it doesn't completely just go. It's like when you're mixing music. If you mix for hi-fi, you can't anymore. It's really annoying. You can do like a master, and I'd love to release vinyl because then I could like mix for something that I know is going to be played brilliantly. Like a collection of that. But most of my music when I mix it is so big that I'm like, oh, this sounds great, and then I get it on my phone, and I'm like, oh, it just sounds horrific.
You have to go with what everyone listens to now,
and it's just not as fun. But yeah, no, I don't know how that got onto that.
To went on tangent like it normally does.
The way there, but yeah.
But I didn't invest in like the whole professional setup and mixers and all the rest of
it.
To
be fair, when I seen your streams, Worko, the quality.
Worko, you're the one that acts, right?
Yes, I'm the one that's applied for drama school.
Yes, you are. So obviously we share that. No, definitely though. The one you've done the right thing, getting something for when you're doing self takes or something when you want to go and do audition stuff. That was my original intention, and then I just ended up doing so much other work that I've not been able to read for anything in too long, to be honest. But if there's any directors watching this, just saying. I do.
And if you personally want any voiceover stuff, I will whenever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Sorry,
I'm
not trying.
Excuse me. I can put my voiceover work out. Thank you very much. I'm mainly accent-based for voiceover. You're not though. You're selling yourself. Do it.
No, please.
Get that bag. We did say in the build-up to this, you do have a voice for radio.
You did well when we had Steve Bruce. With all the accents.
My Steve Bruce isn't that good, but you seem to like it. And some people on the
I
channel seem
don't
to
quite
like it.
understand why everybody was giving me such stick for leaving Sheffield Wednesday, but I did enjoy my time at Newcastle, but sadly it had to come to an end, and
You see, you've actually got a better Geordie, but I think with Steve Bruce,
that was it. But Steve Bruce is like
he's
it's a weird mixture
softer.
of Welsh, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's
yeah.
softer and it's
Well, you know. And
Yeah,
he's,
yeah.
He does quite sound. He sounds a bit Welsh. It does because he's got a soft Geordie accent. It does go into the Welsh tang. Anything to add, Dave? Worko? Anybody before we wrap up the
I
community?
feel like I've
section?
talked far too much. I'm sorry, Dave.
It's all right, no problem.
Dave, anything to add?
No, I don't think so. No,
No?
nothing.
Well, do you know what? We've had two people on. We've had like 45 minutes chat, which you can say we've had a nice chat.
Yep.
You know, so Worker, when you're saying you're talking too much, mate, no, it's been nice. We wanted that. Obviously, we wanted a lot. We were thinking like, oh, loads of people got involved last time. We had loads of people going, we really can't do this Sunday. You know, we had people messaging going, oh, we want to be involved, and then, oh, we can't do this. Short notice. The one thing that I do say to the community is thank you for bearing with me at the fact that I do have to do things at short notice now because I never know when my time schedule is going to end up going, no, you can't do that, can't you do that. Trying to get a house, the adult things. And
To be fair,
you know,
short notice was Friday going, do we need internet in the shed? And like going, yes. Oh, okay, I know what I'm doing today.
Wait, Jake. So you've just converted a shed, and you're saying to do a podcast in, and you're saying, do we need internet in this shed
yes,
on
that's
Friday?
exactly what he said.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
Friday.
I forgot about the whole Discord element.
Yeah, he did. Thank you so much for taking part in this.
Yes, it means a lot.
And it's actually good because we did definitely want to speak to some members of our community before we actually published an anniversary episode, because that, I will say, that has been one huge thing for me, building up that community. And we've still got people. We knew when we moved the podcast to a Tuesday, it was going to drop off, because when you're sitting out on a Sunday, you go, I might as well watch this. So obviously the numbers aren't what they were when it was a Sunday, but we've still got that core. And we've got that solid core, and that core always stays at over 500 people, no matter what the topic is. And those people that stick with it, listen to it.
The weird one, when it comes out on a Tuesday, when we got Tuesday games.
Yeah.
Because that's the strange thing. I have noticed when we got Tuesday games, we do tend to get a little bit more listening.
Well, like when I stream as well, that helps. But yeah, thank you both for taking the time. Be well.
Yep.
Avoid the Omicron. Dating the podcast again. But
be safe. Keep
yourself
warm.
safe and be well. All right.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining this. I don't need this anymore. Your audio.
You can
monitoring, aren't you?
Yeah. We didn't need that for that entire portion.
No.
Either. We just did.
Right. I've taken the headphones off just for continuity now, because we did the first section, the community bit, didn't we? So we're back in now. This is the anniversary part of the podcast.
Yeah.
So welcome. So what I've done, Jake, is I've brought some fine single malt that we're not going to drink a whole lot of because we're going to behave today.
Yes.
But we are going to toast to a year of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Here's my ASMR. Are you ready? Got to always have a bit of this. Oh,
that didn't put you in. It sounds like you're cleaning something.
I mean, it's not the most expensive single malt in the world, but it's a good.
It's an anniversary.
Like if you can get a good one,
yeah,
you stick with it. Not going to do a big one.
Nope. And let's just say we managed to do it for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's not many podcasts that can say they've done it for a year.
Just a wee tipple. This isn't going to make you like combust, is it, Jake?
No.
You can drink.
I can drink. Don't worry. The F&D won't jump out at you.
Okay.
It's not like a sodding exorcism.
Brilliant. Cheers, my friend. You put it in Jack Daniels.
I know. That's all I've got.
That's just.
Cheers.
Cheers to a year of the Talking Wednesday podcast.
And
to
thank
you
you
guys
for watching. Oh, that's lovely.
Just a little tipple there. But yeah.
And
it is as well. That's why I like single malt, because you don't get the. Do you know if you're blended, people drink blended and they go, it's just.
There's
smooth.
nothing there. It's just smooth, nice.
Just smooth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been It's been a fun one. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. But first, Jake, I've got you a gift.
You got me a gift.
Belated Christmas gift, sir.
Yours still hasn't come from America.
You don't actually have to get me a gift. You've hosted us today, sir. But So, Jake's an old man.
I am.
He was born in 1987. So what I have done is I have got you some Sheffield Wednesday programmes
From 1987.
from 1987. Now, I'm afraid you were still a fetus at this point because I couldn't get the exact month you were born. But can that we've got a second camera. Let's just see if they can pick those up. Okay.
Brilliant.
So we've got one from Charlton Athletic there.
Yeah, sure.
We've got one from Manchester United.
Whoa, big boys.
Back in 1987. So these are all programs from your birthday. Yeah, sorry, that's going to trigger some people because that's just bent and it's an old program. One from Arsenal here. Got one from Spurs.
You got Derby people and everything.
Yep, and we've got a classic Sheffield Wednesday Nottingham Forest one. As well
And
for
you know that one?
Yep.
My uncle probably might have been at that game.
There you go. So, however, you were a fetus at this point. So
Yes.
this one, the Forest one, is from Tuesday, the 14th of April,
That
1987.
are they all?
7:30 kickoff. Finlook's kit. So it wasn't actually the season.
Now, I'll tell you a story. You know the silver kit we said we both didn't like?
Yes.
I may have potentially not told the wife yet and bought it.
That disgusting one. That absolutely
Yes.
disgusting one. I just thought
No, they're awesome. Thank you.
that's okay, man. I thought it'd just be a fun little.
That
It's
one.
It's not much, of course. Yeah. The kit we're talking about for video watchers or audio listeners, just so you know, we're currently pulling up the silver kit. So
Purple.
the purple one, you know, the Finlooks, the monstrosity that we did in the video where we talked about.
And
all
we
the
both
Wednesday
said we
kits.
hated it.
But yeah, I know we've never really talked about programs, but I just thought a
No.
little bit of a timestamp of
Thank you very
history
much.
for you.
Very much
Let's
appreciate
sack off the Charlton one, but let's just go back in time and read what was happening on the 14th of April,
Go on.
1987. So Howard
Howard
Wilkinson,
Wilkinson.
there's a little page here with Howard Wilkinson as manager. So we've got, who was the match sponsor that day? Home Brewery PLC. So if you want Home Brewery PLC, Daybrook, Nottingham. Nottingham sponsor for a while. Oh, of course.
The Forest one. Yeah.
But this is a home program.
Maybe we had to do a deal with them?
This is a home program. Okay. So there was individual match sponsors. Howard Wilkinson had done a read there.
In colour.
The programs are something different from here. We're talking about the
You know
last result, which was Wednesday lost to Spurs at home.
Oh.
I can't be doing that.
Now-
Clive Allen's 44th goal of the season.
44 goal of the
44th
season.
goal of the season
What? That know what happened.
was the difference between the teams in a rather disappointing match. Jesus Christ. 44th goal. But the league was so much more competitive back then. 44th goal. A guy called Clive Allen.
That FIFA level kind of thing, isn't it?
On the 30th of March, we'd lost 2-1 to Halifax. Halifax Town.
And we thought we might have fallen this season.
Young Owls. Can you find yourself amongst that? If you are a up, down, tell me please. Tilt it forward. Can you find yourself amongst that, Young Owls, if you were featured in that section there? We've got some picture from Young Owls.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hang on. Young Owls under 10. Back row left to right. Michael Jolly, Gary Townsend, Alex Merrill, Andrew Thorpe, Daniel Smith, Simon Turner, Steve Fox, brackets manager. You know, there's a lot of Young
The
Owls
old
there.
school TV ad.
The TV ad talking about, that's a brilliant TV as well. Watch Sheffield Wednesday. That's an old school Photoshop job. Putting there's around Division 1, because it was obviously called Division 1 back in the 80s. I think, are these the ones that did a post? Yeah, we're getting to a poster in a second. Hang on, though, before we talk about that.
My dad had one of these.
Number 1 in Sheffield for Vauxhall Opal Bedford. Come and get your thing at Charles Clark. We've got the cars there. So make sure you if you want, which way? Backwards. Okay.
Is that better?
Soph doesn't realise that everything's in reverse for me currently, but we've got the... If you are an audio listener of this, you've got to watch the
Your
video version of
social
this.
local.
Yep. Imperial portable typewriters at special prizes. S. Clow Ibbotson. Oh,
You know, back in the day when you could.
Oh, big old poster of Carl Schutt. Jake, you can... I wouldn't recommend... Oh. Just his crotch, apparently. Down. Cool. So, Carl Schutt, Sheffield Wednesday. Jake, I will understand if you do want to rip this off and put it on your bedroom wall, but I wouldn't recommend it from a program from 1987, which could be classed as a collectible.
Yeah.
What
are you about? These are going to be the new background for when we do podcasts.
No, exactly. Do you have any classic programs?
I don't think I do. I think my granddad had them all.
Alan Biggs at close range
Jesus.
is at the back of this. Games, goals. This is how you used to get your tables. So there's tables. There's results at the bottom of here. This is a proper
throwback.
Yeah. And obviously the Finlux is on the front as well. So,
get it.
So Wednesday at the point here where... Quite low down. I had to look further. 41 points, 34 games played. We were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Luton Town were 4th in the league, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16th.
16th place, and now we're 9th or something with 40
Everton
points.
were top of the league. Liverpool were 2nd.
All right, Everton, you need to go back in time and find out, get that manager.
Manchester United were...
Is it pre-Ferguson?
Hang on. 11th.
When did Ferguson get a job?
We will get that information. Bro. Manchester City, bottom of the league, 31 points.
Oh.
With Charlton Athletic, Charlton Athletic and Aston Villa making up the relegation places.
I love the old school sodding adverts as well on the back.
I just thought this would be a nice... Because I was going through my programme collection and I thought, Gary Megson was playing for us this day, though.
Aha!
This match, because they got this when they did the lineup. Well, we got a fax on the Ferguson. 1986, so yes. It was the early days when they were calling for his head.
Who does this man from Aberdeen know what he's doing?
Exactly.
Yes.
So there
Thank you
go,
very
my
much,
friend.
mate.
It's just a small thing I thought would be nice,
Yes.
relevant to your history there. We can have a look.
Now I understand, because he sent me a record. What year were you born? I was like, 87. Right.
Yeah. I just want, because I was like,
that message through me. I was like, why does he want to know what year I'm born?
Well, it's because it said it on your Facebook, but I was like, sometimes people don't always put the correct birth year on Facebook, so I didn't want to turn up with 87 programs, and you're like, actually, I wasn't born in 87, and it's a really awkward section. So yeah,
it's a difficult story we don't talk about in the family.
No. Most of this is just going to be us chatting about what the podcast has been for us and all of that. And then just anything we want to really talk about. But let's just go into some wacky stuff that the community have brought. So Maple Leaf has wrote in some questions to get us.
And he always does.
Get us going. Yeah, he does. Obviously couldn't be on it because he's in Canada.
Yes.
Maple Leaf.
If you get them,
do you get it? But he said to start, and this is True Talking Wednesday, would you rather have a time machine or a teleporter? Time machine, purely because I would use it for financial gain, like the whole plot of that backfires in Back to the Future 2. But I don't really like the idea of a teleporter because the only way it would work is you would have to antimatter and then come back together. Not fun.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably time machine, because then you could change a lot of... As long as you don't change it too much.
No, don't go back. I wouldn't want to go back. I want to go forward. I want to go way back.
I go back just to see people who I at school and go, look, this is what I'm doing, and then go forward and see where they were. I'm petty like that.
You could go back to the time of the dinosaurs.
Shall we just go back to when they were good and keep them in the Premiership?
And
get like Man City style money. Like the cheat code you do on like FM.
Yeah.
Where you go, right, you're buying Jordan Rowe for 50 million.
Just go back to when the dinosaurs were about, 2016 Britain. Anyway, yeah, no.
That's a members episode.
You can stay in, Sonic. We'll talk. We'll talk more of Maple Leafs. There's some crackers in here. Maple Leaf. Thank you very much for providing. If you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be? Back to the Future trilogy, which is kind of fitting into there for me. I know it's not the thing, but it would be Back to the Future 2.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Oh, I've not seen Die Hard.
I like Die Hard.
I know.
You've never seen Die Hard?
No, I'm not. I know that's a thing. I know that's a shun thing. See you later. Don't ruin the focus of every camera! Is he broken everything? Are we fine?
No.
No, we're good. Why were you shaking your head at me, Soph? Oh. Okay, so the trilogy wasn't acceptable. Fair enough. How many days in a row could you eat the same dinner? Well, when I'm trying to lose weight, I will just literally have like
I will eat the same meal in a same like if I'm really bad poorly wise, I'll have the same thing for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can do that. I think I really enjoy pizza, so that's one I always have to throw in. But I do sort of do the days where you have to keep it going. It's usually I can only do the same thing for like 2 or 3 days in a row.
I've done it for a while. I had the same thing for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and it was horrible. And it was because I had some sort of test I needed to do at hospital. It was like checking what foods you were like not thingy.
Yeah,
I remember going in, going, right, can I have something new now? And they say, you've got to eat this for another 2 weeks. Nope, not doing that.
No, it's I just have chicken and rice and broccoli a lot if I'm trying to lose weight. But at the minute, I don't really care. I'm just like, pizza, please.
You're enjoying your food.
Yeah. Well, there's not many joys left in life, you know. There's
a couple.
There's a few, but like food is one of the big ones for me. I really enjoy food. Everything's going to crap around well, you know, like inflation, everything else.
Yeah,
I'm still going to enjoy my food, and that's the one difficulty I have.
They haven't put the price of pizza delivery up yet. So.
It's hard to maintain weight. I'm not going to lie.
Have you made homemade pizzas like from scratch?
Yeah,
like made the dough and stuff.
Yeah. What? I'm trying to remember the last time we did that. It didn't go well, did it? Or did it? Did we started just deciding that we were gonna make the dough, but then we decided let's just get the bases and do the topping.
Yeah.
So we get the pre-made dough because it just wasn't going.
Yeah.
Well.
You ever tried making pasta?
I've not tried to make.
Oh,
pasta.
that's awesome.
What's it? Do tell me.
Basically, flour, eggs, and
I don't need to know. No, I didn't want a recipe, Jake. I want to know your experiences with it. Did it go well?
I had to learn how to make it at culinary school because I'm an ex-chef.
Oh, I keep forgetting you're an ex-chef.
Yeah. So I had to learn how to do it, and my first batch of ravioli I did.
Why is your wife cooking us dinner? We could have had a 5-course meal from Chef Jake, Punk Chef 41.
I have no Why the name Punk Chef 41?
Exactly. So I don't think I've ever told you that. That's never come up. So you were just like, oh, chef.
Yeah, but
you're gonna have to cook for us one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm just I'm scanning free food.
To be fair, the worst problem whenever you're a chef was whenever you went to barbecue. So you said, "Oh, you can look after the barbie." They're like, "Nope, I'm getting
barbecue
drunk."
is different as well. It's a different style.
And
of cooking,
it's not a chef thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is if you're in certain.
And it depends what you class as a barbecue. I don't class as a barbecue as like burgers and hot dogs. I class as wings, marinated chicken.
You'd like one.
Yeah.
You'd like one of my barbecues.
Oh.
I just shove everything on it. Obviously,
And then everyone gets salmonella.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I know I'm a big chicken.
Then again, that ham you sound like you did it. That ham you did at Christmas sounds like it was awesome.
It was banging. I did sort of like a BTEC version of it on. You can't say that anymore, is it? Can you? I did kind of a dumbed down version of it on. I've just said that as what I was replacing. No, BTEC isn't that. BTEC is very valid. I'm very sorry. Very sorry. Soph's looking at me like.
This is cool because these are the looks that I know.
You've got a first class degree now. It's fine.
Right. But these are the looks I know you get when you do the watch along sometimes, and you're both in the same room.
It just used to be a thing. Even people were doing BTECs in school. You know, if you were saying like because there was the BTECs and the A levels. People were saying that like even though actually BTEC can be equally as hard. I'm not doing that. It's just saying I can realise how it'd be. You know the joke. I'm not being an arse, right? Okay, but yeah, I did it. It wasn't a very good.
Do you remember at one point that used to be?
It was basically right. The difference was I'm gonna get to it. I had to buy a supermarket ham for the second one, right? I had to buy a supermarket one when my mates had booked it, and I did the thing, right? Okay.
I feel like you backtracked a couple of times on
Shut
this.
up! Have some Pokemon cards. Let's distract. I'm distracting Jake with them. Who's your celebrity crush? My girlfriend's in the room, which I mean, she knows. There's a few. Go on, Jake.
My wife knows mine. Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not really a Scarlett Johansson man. I've got quite a. Right, you're probably best to answer this. Which ones do I say quite a few times?
Oh
Yeah. Joan from Men's
Jan.
one,
Is it?
very much.
Yeah.
January Jones.
Oh, Christina Hendricks. Oh, we really shown that thing there.
We'll just leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely.
I think I know why.
Yeah. Yeah. Just yeah. I do like a redhead.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of our current partners are redheads. That's awkward.
No. Yeah.
Soph dyes her hair a lot of different colours. In fairness.
To be fair, Sarah would be dyeing her hair a lot if she could.
I've just read the next topic that we're going to from this. Toilet paper, over or under. I just realised that. For some reason, I read that in my head as like
Over.
to wiping. But no, it's the toilet paper's got to be facing you. It can't be on the back.
It's
can't-
over.
Yeah.
The actual patent agreement even says it's over.
Mm.
And I think it's done. I think it's with Thomas Crapper who made the toilet, and he
Ah,
was from Thorn in Doncaster.
That's why they call it the crapper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave Jones, who we've been chatting to,
Yeah.
I'm just reading through a couple that we didn't talk to in the community section. Which band/artist which you could go back and see in the prime? I never saw Oasis. I used to
Hendrix.
love Oasis. Or Hendrix. Yeah, that I wouldn't.
I'd love to.
I respect him as a guitarist, but as his shows, I wouldn't. Be
I'd
too-
love to see Fleetwood Mac.
I'd like to see Prince, like a proper Prince show, but like like his Super Bowl era where he was just.
Well,
on
the thing I
top
got,
of,
mine's are all with drummers, so I'd like to see the Who with Keith Moon, Led Zeppelin with John Bonham, and just proper old school drummers who just you watch them play and go, how the hell are you doing that?
I'd like to see a Guns N' Roses in the early days.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
went to one where it was not great.
No, Axel can still sing. He just can't sing live. I don't know
No.
if you've heard the newer stuff,
I
like
have.
his like Hard School's like back to Axel's prime voice, but like,
One of the weird ones I'd like to do is Jefferson Airplane,
all right.
because I grew up in like a folky kind of house. My mum's a hippie, and she still's a hippie to this day, and she'll play Joni Mitchell or Kate Bush. And
Does she date Alan Rickman and then get cheated on by some tart?
yeah, but if you watch that after you watch that first and then watch Die Hard, you don't feel so bad.
Is your mum Emma Thompson? And if so, can we chat with Emma Thompson because she's fantastic?
If my mum goes near technology, she combusts.
So she's not Emma Thompson. No. Can you imagine the plot twist on the podcast? If
Yeah,
your mother
how
was Emma
have
Thompson?
we gone from Emma
I
Thompson?
don't know. It's one of those when we don't have a document, it kind of just goes a little bit rogue.
Which we
rogue?
don't mind going
No.
rogue.
No. Rogue. It is rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. For some reason,
Why do
rogue
you
was in
rogue?
my head. I don't know.
It's a podcaster. You were having that in your head.
Ah, yeah. We've
There
been
you go.
talking about his tech.
Yeah,
It's
he's very jealous.
I am actually. It's a good
Which
bit-
I'm
good bit
really
of kit
shocked
that.
by. I never
It's
thought.
because I use traditional mixers, but that's pretty good actually. I'm gonna have to invest. It's because I'd have never looked at it because it's only got 4 XLR inputs, but
Yeah,
that's all you really need. You could
you can get one with 8,
but you could also technically bounce a mixer to that.
Yeah, people have.
So you could do whatever you wanted with it. You wouldn't have the single tracks on it, but Dave Jones also wrote in and said, if you could spend the day with Chansiri in Sheffield, where would you take him?
West Street.
It's good get West. Come see my band play, please.
Take him to
tune
West
them
Street, but watch him accidentally go into players.
West Street's a bloody good answer. Back in If Corp is Corp shut now? Corp's shut, isn't it? Or have they reopened?
I'm not sure.
No, take him to Tank.
Oh, or Lead Mill.
Tank.
Yeah.
No, Tank.
Tank.
And he can see all the people with their jaws on the floor.
You
I went into Tank once. When I was driving, I was the friend that was driving because it was back in the hotel days when I worked in the hotel, and Tank's not my thing, right? You can get. I like to have a chat with my mates.
Yeah.
So like Tank's all right if I'm hammered, but when I'm not drinking, Tank is not my thing.
No.
But I was with a couple of people who were proper like grime heads basic. They were like, let's go to Tank. I was like, right, okay. So I met them. I drove, parked my car. They let my mates in, and then I was going in, and they were like, look, mate, your eyes are a little bit. I know you're on something, but like you can come in and have a good. You can have a good night, you know. Like, but just be careful, man. I don't want you overdoing it. So like, be careful. I was like, I'm driving. Thanks. It's like when in the comment section, oh, you had COVID. Yeah, you were looking rough. Oh, thanks. But it was like, I was tired.
That comment was funny.
I had done an early shift, so obviously I'd been up at like 5:45 in the morning, and then we'd gone, and then I was working the late shift.
To be fair, when I used to do like the catering side, the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand is when you do like hospitality, your best mates are normally who you're working with because you're normally on the same shifts.
I didn't really get on with many people. To be honest, mate, in your side of it, I get that the kitchen staff were tight. But I found when I went into it, there was some lovely people there.
Tights are, yeah.
I actually got on with one of the chefs best. That's who I got on with the best there. But like, I learned
how to like love put Polish kind of.
I'd just come out of uni, right? So I'd gone from where everybody's sort of like an open book, and what they say is what they mean, and you can talk about relationships.
Oh, young and so naive.
I didn't realise how schoolyard it was going to go back in there when you said, oh yeah, that, you know, like it's a simple thing. I remember I got asked the first week, who do you think's attractive? I thought it was the same as uni, you know, sort of like you say, oh, that person's attractive, nothing ever happens, it never becomes a thing. But then I realised that when you get there, you say that and you've been trapped. Oh yeah, she's all right, you know, that sort of thing, you know. Oh yeah, no, I think she's a really nice person, and all of a sudden it goes around like it's a schoolyard, and you're like, oh,
well, you know
this
the
is
story.
Sort of vibe
you know
I'm
the
walking
story.
into it because a lot of people have still just come out of school, or they've gone straight through school into that job, and they're there, and it was a different dynamic, and and I think there were some really, really genuine, solid people there, but it was very difficult for me to adapt coming from a uni perspective, being the only sort of like recent uni graduate there. Like, oh, it's very different here. It's very, very schoolyard politics sort of thing, and
Well, do you know the Peter Crouch story?
Which one?
The one where he goes to the hotel and he's staying in the hotel while he's looking for a place. He goes, oh, the receptionist, she's really fit and stuff. That's Xabi Alonso's wife. I was like, oh, really?
Can you imagine?
Oh dear.
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm obviously I'm many years. I'm not many, but loads. Quite a few years on.
Basically, what he's saying is,
but when you're like 22, that I was then, everybody was talking, saying somebody like you just go. You'd be friends with people, and you would acknowledge that they're attractive, but there was nothing there, and it was open conversations. That was part of uni I really liked, not making people feel uncomfortable, being very.
It was just having a conversation.
Just having a conversation, and it wasn't in a predator. It wasn't in like a. There was never any of that there, but it was like a tittle tattle sort of thing. There's never been any. I actually think it's inappropriate to make comments.
Yes.
You know, if you're having a general conversation, like that's a very different thing because. Being in at uni all the time, you'd just be like, you'd have people. Everybody would know that who found each other attractive because it was easier that way to like not get into crap with stuff.
In a kitchen, because I never did uni,
all of that
right?
sort of stuff.
I never did the uni side of it. In a kitchen, if the co-for, you're attractive, normally
where is this going?
Right, normally meant like, right, you're not gonna date them, you're not gonna do anything like it was your one night stand, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of times that I had chef walk into a storeroom and go, right, we need to fire that waitress. Why? Well, he'd been with Ivan. Oh, great.
Well, no, it's. I'll be honest. The chefs were also the worst. That were like they were the ones that would make the derogatory comment about it, or make the objectifying comments, the stuff that isn't acceptable. Do you know what I mean? But having a respectful, serious with the people, you know, you don't do it behind the back.
No,
you know, it's not that.
Oh, you never would have that in the kitchen.
It's just with the kit, but the couple of the kitchen staff were the people that did that as well, and it was I was like, oh, but they were older generation, man. They were older than you at that point, and it was sort of like
the kitchen staff used to be referred
it's not
to
acceptable.
the place we used to refer to the pirates. Because it's
a
that
very
kind of
different dynamic.
yeah.
But I got on with I was always the one that would just try and get on with everyone. I knew I wasn't going to be there for very long, but that didn't ever set me in good stead either, because they knew
you weren't
going to be there for very long. So it was sort of like,
if they know that you're not going to be there for long, they can.
I was like, I'm on minimum wage. What do you expect me to come here and be like, oh yeah, no, but I'd also just come out of, and that sounds entitled. I know a lot of people work really hard to get to minimum wage, but it was a case of, don't ask me to do the world, break my back for it. The same as that. When you're going to pay me crap and you couldn't care about me because these jobs are 10 a penny for you in the eyes of management, you know. And you do that when you have those conversations.
But that's the thing with chefs as well, because a chef will know that he can go to another kitchen and get a better job, better pay, and treated better. But sometimes you stay for the people who you work with.
No, that was there wasn't any. I just remember, like, I stood up for a colleague that was getting shouted at and belittled for being, you know, and the manager,
sometimes when
the manager then went and took that customer who'd been belittling it, because I said, you will not speak to my colleague like that. Obviously not caring, I was ready to leave anyway. He went and took him a bottle of wine and said sorry for the, you know, and I was like,
but that does happen in the hospitality and catering.
I just said you're an absolute idiot to him, and I said, and then
that's the PG version.
You know, yeah, pretty much. No, I was respectful about it, but I said, look, I will not stand. And it was the one time that a member there sort of like seemed to, the one that I knew didn't really like me. One of the management, she was sort of like, do you know what? Actually, I understand what you were doing there. You were trying to protect another member, but the manager was just.
This is what we got to do.
He'd come in from corporate, you know, the big one of those. Portuguese chains.
Where's this gone?
I don't know. He's talking about life. He's talking about where we got to. It's why it's like I don't mind putting in the graph, because I know what people have to graph for. And also, you know, when we talk about wider context of people having to work for these things, I know some people are in situations they don't want to be in, because I was in a situation, I didn't know where I was going after uni. You know, I still am working my bloody arse off with what I'm doing now. I'm now more in my industry, which is nice. I'm not fully where I want to be, nowhere near.
But this is the thing, a lot of people still. It's very rare when he comes out of uni and they know that's what the field they want to do.
Yeah.
So it's not about that whole, I want to go to experience. You change as you get older.
Yeah.
The people who are in like 40-year jobs who are now going, right, the pandemic's hit, I don't want to do this now. I actually enjoy what I've been doing outside of like the hobby I'm doing. I'm going to turn that into a career.
Yeah.
And it's a weird one, because I think there's so many people now where, the gig economy kind of gone bust a little bit due to the pandemic, but there's so many more people like, no, I'm better than this. I can do something better than this and have my own hours. It's hard.
I like that it's empowered a lot of people to be like, I'll be honest, it made me realise, you know, when there was a little bit of, I was lucky enough to be able to get a little bit of furlough from some of that. I had to go back to work earlier than quite a few people, but with some of it was a case of
you all loved it. You had content.
we got to, this podcast came out of it, but it was this is what privilege feels like. Being able to do what I want to do and still have some form of income at the end of the month. This is what some people are, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You were born into where you were born into. You know, I'm not trying to say people with privilege don't work hard, because that's not always true. But actually not having to worry about your paycheck at the end of the month, while you can still do whatever you want and do your passion projects. That for me is the dream, and I'm not there. You know, now we're back to normality. I'm having to work really hard in that and trying to bring that around, which is why.
And Grant, you'll get people who'll be like, "Why don't you put the podcast back on Sunday?" Because you got 2 jobs and you're doing 2 jobs because you've got goals.
I've now decided not to sack this podcast off and still work hard and work extra on top of it and do it, because I enjoy it. I enjoy chatting with you. I enjoy building the community here, and it is disheartening. You know, you see the move to Tuesdays did drop us off by a couple of hundred watchers. Even sometimes it can be more, and that sort of thing. And some people pick it up later, and there is that. And that side obviously is a bit disappointing. But I also realised that we sort of hit really good numbers really straight on. It was the height of the time, so it was always going to cool off.
But we were also quite lucky when we started the podcast, because we were already doing like the live reaction after games. We had that little already relationship.
I was streaming every game. You were streaming, and then I was like, "Hey Jake, come on and chat afterwards."
Yeah.
And then
the first couple of times when me sending stuff was hilarious, because like have you done this before? What do I send you?
Well,
What do
it
you
is
do?"
funny because I was talking about creating another podcast with somebody else, which is just
Yep.
funny if you think about that story where that
Yeah.
podcast ended up being. And then that went over Christmas. I was busy, and then something didn't happen. Then I was like, oh, maybe it's time to do a podcast, and then that ended up going down a different avenue. So I was like,
I remember just getting that message going, right, well, I want to start a podcast. Do you want to do it? What you
Yeah.
got? What's your equipment? What do you know? I'm very green coming into this because
Yeah.
I've not done it before.
I
know what I'm doing on my side if I'm doing video, but when it comes to podcast, completely different.
Yeah, I was like, don't worry, I'll just tell you what to do.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
we literally did that, and then we did it, and we worked it, and
And it got better as we got on. I at one point he would have to wait for files off me because it's just a nightmare. Now I can send them straight away. It's just like a lot of people look at what I do and like I always think of myself, I'm all the gear with no idea, but I got the idea. I'm just not very good at sometimes getting that practical side to me going.
yeah.
Because my brain is so bad at remembering stuff, it forgets it as quickly.
Yeah.
So I find a simple way for me to do things.
It's no, and to be honest, man, that's the way you've developed and come on with it is like it's been great. We've got it to a working machine now, and yes, I've still got plans for the podcast. I'll be very honest. I don't know if this is going to have the longevity of like let's be honest, like the first Wednesday podcast in terms of like the Wednesday week that have been going for ages, rotating the lineups, doing all of that. Do you know that sort of thing? I don't know if it's gonna. I never listen to football podcasts, by the way, but everybody knows who they are in the fan base.
Yeah.
You know, that's the. I don't know if that's gonna have we're going to have the time or that to be able to carry it on for that. I'm enjoying it for what it is now. And I
enjoying the moment and then just seeing what happens.
Yeah, and it's not like this podcast isn't profitable.
No. Make a loss.
No Wednesday podcast is.
No. The only way you're a profitable on a football podcast is you're talking about big guns. And yes, we are big in terms of what we do, but we also have a level of where we hit.
If you bring my other channel stuff into it, I mean, you technically could potentially say that sometimes it can sort of like break even, but it's very, it's sort of like with the stuff we put into it and all of that. And when you think that
I think the bit you don't get back is the time, but I think there's some podcasts like run, and they value the time. But
I do miss our 3-hour episodes.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah. And I would love to get to it, but that's all going to come from people continually supporting us. And I know the memberships are the memberships are a thing there financially.
Yeah, I looked at that the other day. It said I hit a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
We are doing stuff. Don't get me wrong. If you are still there, I'm gonna be sending stuff out. You know, this sort of like thing for Jake here and stuff. The little hint of what I'll be doing so part of that's your membership reward.
Yeah.
Well done. So not
I'm getting well done for giving me £4 a month.
Yeah. So I don't even get like whatever.
You don't get that. Well, that's the other thing. Like when people like super chat, that I think a lot of people think you're getting all that money. You don't.
Yeah,
It depends what you do it on. If you do it on an Apple device, they take 30%.
Yeah.
So
and YouTube take. We can't talk about specifics, but YouTube take a cut. It's all a case of like...
One of the things with this podcast, it's been great to talk to another Wednesday night and have another creative outlet for me personally. And for a long time, if you looked on YouTube, it was just me, Brad, and probably Ben at one point. And then people have dropped off.
I only did the...
We worked out I'm 11 years in doing this.
Well, I only did the Wednesday career mode.
Yeah, we're going through your channel the other day and seeing the views. I'm like, Jesus, some of them were... mental.
Well, that's where it built it off, and I'd meet people at like I was in the park who were like, I really like your career mode, you should do more Wednesday stuff, and I was like, I'm not a Wednesday YouTuber though.
Oh,
like,
I got completely.
I'm not a Wednesday YouTuber, guys. I do whatever I feel is necessary for my channel.
I got a completely different reaction because he's not doing Wednesday stuff. It's embarrassing.
I'll be honest, mate. You know, when I first heard of you, people weren't very kind to you, and like the forums weren't very kind to you, and your resilience, mate, of like. Just keeping it going, because the thing you don't get to know, and if you don't, the shit that you get, you'll see the first early comments of like, why does he speak like that?
Yeah.
What's that? You know, and I can talk to you about, because we've talked about this off sort of thing, and you do see, when you do that, you go, oh, is this just one of those fans, a bit of a weirdo in his bedroom doing his videos? You know what I mean? And like, when you're younger, you can sort of laugh at that, and it's cruel, it's not nice, and it's like, when I got to know you, I was like, fuck, man, like, he's such a decent bloke, and he's nice, and people that actually get to know who you are, as they say it in the fan base, I know you talk to a lot of people out there, I must seem like a right antisocial git sometimes because I don't talk a lot, you know, and I do just put the content out, and it's not because of that. It's because I don't have the emotional energy to always talk, you know, and I'm very much one of those sort of people that will put a lot into the content, and I'm very loud, so people are like, oh, well, he must be up himself because he's not doing it. I'm like, no, I need to not emotionally, but I just need to sort of like socially recharge.
Yeah.
If I'm going and doing all this content and I'm working and I'm constantly trying to give
Well, I'll let you know the secret. 2 years ago, I nearly quit. I nearly quit the whole YouTube stuff. I was like, I'm not getting any traction. I'm stuck at 500 subs, and I'm reading the comments. I'm like, I've had enough. Then lockdown actually helped because I started speaking to other YouTubers. I did the kind of reaching out.
Sorry about ignoring your email about 5 years ago, by the way.
Ah, no worries.
I've probably got that stuff. If I can find it.
But I reached out to people and stuff, and it was just one of those things. And it was one of those situations. I've always had those like comments like, "Why you talk like that? Why do you look like that?" And I'm used to it, and I've built it up over the years that I'm able to roll it off the back kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you can roll it off the back and just throw with the punches, and I used to have it where the comments used to get to me and get me down, but at the same time, I knew what it was.
It wasn't that long ago.
Was it not?
18th of 2018. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring what you just said there. By the way, I did take that in. Yeah. Hey, I was wondering if you would be up for doing a collab video about Sheffield Wednesday during the international break. My channel is PunkChef41. Been doing a Wednesday related video for the past 5 to 6 seasons now. The video idea is to kind of just talk about how we're doing, your thoughts so far this season. I didn't ignore you. In fairness. Hi, I'm away down south with work currently. For this week during the international break, I won't be able to do any filming. I'm having to bulk record my content this week. I'm happy to collab something in the future though. That bit was sincere. Was I down south? I did. That was the year I was doing filming for Succession and stuff. So I'm not sure if that wasn't in October. I did 2 down south things. I can't remember. I remember one was in April.
Yeah.
I was down south. No, I know when that was. Oh, God, I didn't lie to him either. I was truthful. Yeah, no. Part of the work I do now, I was going through the process of starting with them, and they asked me to go down south.
And to be fair, I didn't email back because I was like, all right, cool, so busy. And I'm not one to like just mither. Yeah. I respect people's time and stuff. So I kind of like, you know what, fine. Kind of thing.
Yeah, no, and I actually replied to you there. So I always thought that I ignored you on that. I didn't. I replied to you.
So you weren't being an arsehole.
No.
Like you thought you were.
I mean, I might not have wanted to collab with you.
Well, back then, I've probably not even hitting 250, 400 subs.
Well, no, it's. I know you used Owl's Talk. I didn't really use Owl's Talk. I knew the guy that owned Owls Online, so I used to chat on there occasionally. That's what was my interaction with Wednesday fans. I did the FIFA career mode, and obviously my family and stuff like that. So it's very different side. There's different, not size, but there's different aspects of Wednesday where you talk.
The different Wednesday families,
yeah, exactly.
Because like, for all the bad Owl Talk what they managed to do for me just before Christmas blew me away.
Yeah, well, you used to get stick on Owl's Talk though. I used to notice that, but then like because back in the day, you did when you started. But then it seems like you because you kind of went through that and stuck through it. There was the respect for you there, and I'm glad to see that that actually came into it. You know, because you did deserve that not to be.
And back then, to be fair, my content was. What you look at what I do now and what I did back then, and it's always good looking back at what you did. Yeah, I
mean, your content's still.
He's already told me I need to get a cinema camera. I need to get a background. He's always said you need a producer. He just I don't know where you think I'm getting all this money from.
You know, I used to tell you that short videos didn't work, but now YouTube's algorithm likes them.
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to start doing shorts.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah, because work. You're sort of like, when you're a video, I used to mock you because you used to just like hold your phone up and go, Sheffield Wednesday link with this player. Do you think it would be a good idea? I think this would be quite a good idea, you know, if we sign this player, because we actually could do with a player like this. Let me know what you think. Thanks, like, subscribe, do all those to buy. In like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and you still do that.
Yeah.
But like now you do it in shorts. They buy.
yeah, I know.
And I'm like,
it's
fair
odd, isn't it?
enough. Fair enough. It works, and that's.
And it was one of those things where people used to have it like when I knew when I upgraded like camera, audio stuff, well, getting better. I have somebody turn around and go, "Oh, you should jack all this in. It's not worth all the money you put into it."
Oh, people are just.
And
bitter,
I
man.
but I put back and said, "I know it's not worth the money I put in, but I enjoy it, and that's the main thing."
Yeah. It's a sideline for me because obviously I've got the music takes a lot of money. When I'm writing, my writing is not currently what I get my money from.
Yeah.
It's the other aspects of the music job. So it's a case of I'm trying to find time to balance writing and doing all of that with everything now, and that's the difficulty for me for it.
Yeah.
That's why I always said I would love for us to get, if I can get to like the 10K mark with some sort of like mild sponsorships, just enough to get by on this with a bit of extra work in the week, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, because I could carry on with it. Did you just get our dinners ready?
Yeah, I did.
Well, that's good because we're not going to go for too much longer
Yeah.
anyway. But it's been really good to get to know you on that. Getting to do this as well has made us. We want to do like.
We want to do this more.
We'd want to do this in a position.
Yeah.
If we can get if Talking Wednesday does do another year, I reckon by year 2, we'd like to be able to do this in person. We obviously are doing this as a one-off. The time currently doesn't allow us to get together every week and do this.
If we can do one during bits and pieces, we will do.
I will say it's really easy to do community interaction, and as that is what we based our podcast off, being able to bring people in on this. We could do it every single week.
And you know what? One of the really weird worries like I had when we were coming into like saying, "Oh, we'll do meeting." Like, would we be the same in person like we were on Zoom? Because you have that kind of thing, and it's just been like, "Yeah, same as normal."
However, I have just scuffed my alloy getting into his driveway.
Yeah, yes.
He's got a bloody rock that sticks out, and I went, "I'm gonna hit that rock. Can you guys just like see me in?" And they both just stood there, and my alloy just went.
All I'm gonna say
because I can't see.
It's a knife boulder.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Without driving license, that's true. We're gonna need to move that when I reverse.
Yeah,
out,
we will.
Yeah, I think that's it for me for the anniversary episode. Is there anything you'd like to add, Jake?
Just the usual. Keep safe, keep warm, and remember, if you start something, enjoy doing it and enjoy it for what it is. And the moment it doesn't become enjoyable, it doesn't need to stop and be. I'm making it kind of thing, but like I said when I
do
said,
what you enjoy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You're better with words.
Anything to add, Soph, behind the tech today? No.
No.
Excellent. I want to thank you for supporting the podcast. Obviously, I've been saying there's a core of people that have always watched this podcast, and we can see it in the metrics. And it's been just nice to actually be able to talk about something that was just a hobby for me in every week and build this on this channel. I obviously thanks to Jake because it's on my. There's a chance when I brought him in, even though we were already doing it on my channel with like live stuff. There's a chance he goes, "Why is it on your channel?" That sort of thing. And you got that in the early days, and then I was like, "But look, we will bounce it to the other channel." And Jake's channel's grown, and it's done exactly what we'd hoped it would do, and that thing,
And there were people going in when I was doing it like,
didn't you have less than 1,000 subs when I brought you on?
Yeah.
And it was a case of I was like, we'll build it on this because I'm getting views.
Yeah.
Enough views for it to bring some eyes in, and then redirect them back. And I was like, yes, that's going to help my channel with views, but it's also going to, and your channel's, what's it?
1,700
and that's it. That's in the year, and my channel's gone from to be honest.
Hey, at least you didn't get the quiff.
No. But hopefully we can get to 4,000. We didn't do it because, to be honest, with me COVID, and I'm telling you, the algorithm has killed us massively. So if you are watching this, please make sure you're supporting every video. Like it, go to the breakouts, do that. If you can't financially support us, which I understand, we're not like give us all your money,
Yeah.
We're just saying if you can go and drop a like on every single video, if you could just
ratings on podcast.
Ratings on podcasts, Spotify. Click play on every single episode, even if you've done it on something else and you've got Spotify, because then you can rate every single episode and help us out that way. That would be brilliant, because Spotify.
And I know it sounds really daft that we always say rate it and leave a, but you don't know how much they actually really help.
And on YouTube, it's massive. Just comments saying thank you, saying we appreciate we see that, and that's lovely to us, and the likes help.
You know, one of the best feelings I get is when I get a message on a Tuesday going, I just listened to the podcast. I don't agree with this. I think this, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and people that don't have to be confrontational about everything. That's what I found. That's what I said at the start of this community. You're not going to come in here and just be confrontational. There's enough of that on the internet. There's enough of that in the Wednesday fan base. If you want that, that's not the Talking Wednesday podcast. Yeah. That's not what we want here. Yeah.
What?
Spotify have miscategorized us under American football.
Do you have to put it on the soccer?
I didn't put it on Spotify. In that regard, I'll have a look later, but that shouldn't have done that.
Well, we're now an American football team.
Hey guys, let's talk about the Jets. So the Jets actually a thing?
Yeah, New York Jet, but the crap.
Excellent. Sheffield Wednesday, hand in hand. That has been it for the anniversary episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast. We'll be back next week with the normal programming.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe.
All that good stuff.
Do all this. That's the Dexterity Box outro. We'll see you on the next episode of Talking Wednesday.